My Valerie said, if I windmill for Claudia, baby, she gonna come through the fuck. Ah, girl, we gotta get into it, y'all. My God. Happy hump day. Happy hump day. Hope you guys have had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful midday, midday week. Hold on, midweek day. Okay. Happy hump day. 2 days away from the good old weekend, child. TGIF could not come any faster, no pun intended, right? You guys already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and run those likes up. We need all the likes, all the likes, all the likes, all the likes, all the likes. You guys have been doing so wonderful on the likes. I cannot even honestly complain, child. Y'all have really been tearing up the thumbs up. I really, really, really appreciate that, because you guys know that YouTube has been playing on our head tops when it comes to the notification system. So people and our subscribers and viewers and our kingdom members have not been getting notified appropriately. Every single live stream, there are Conscious Crew members who are telling me, I didn't get notified CTV. I didn't get notified CTV. I didn't get notified CTV. I just happened to be scrolling through YouTube and saw that you were live. Have no idea why YouTube is doing this, what YouTube has going on. There's so much going on this platform that is insane. But I'm actually really being sabotaged right now, which is crazy, because I'm one of the most hardworking, dedicated, and committed content creators on this platform. I not only bring the tea, I bring the intellect, I bring the deep dive. I have a very interactive platform, hence why I drop the link and we get into these town halls. So it's really unfortunate that YouTube is not doing their part in honoring that and respecting that. And I have no way of correcting that. So I just have to kind of suffer through. And the only thing that we can really do to get our bang for our time here, you guys, is to just thumbs up the video. That just helps to counteract the notification system. So please, when you're coming in and before you leave out and anytime in between the commentary, thumbs up the video. Is one of the most important things you can do on any content on this platform, whether it's a live stream or it's pre-recorded. Please run me a like. It doesn't cost you anything. Speaking of not costing you anything, you can always donate to the platform at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or paypal.me/Consciouztv, conscious with the Z on the end, spelt just how it is here on the platform. Also, make sure that you have your notification bell set to all, even though it does its own thing. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a where you lay the line. Just let them know that we're loud, we're live, and we're certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what's going on, Conscious Crew? Happy Wednesday. Let me speak to the Conscious Crew in the building before we get into our evening discussion. What's going on, Queen B Moore? Hey, lovely day one. Hey, Renaissance woman. Hey, Ambi. What's going on, Valerie? Hey, Emily. What's going on, Torin? What's going on, Ave? Hey, Chanel. Hey, TW. Hey, Sam. I love you too, boo. What's going on? Hey, NL. What's going on, D? Hey, Sharon. What's going on, The Ultimate TV? Miss Mika. What's going on, Miss Lily? Hey, Jay Ivory. What's going on, D? Hey, Shauna. What's going on, Dancing with Nature? What's going on, you guys? Hey, Marsha. What's going on, Latera? Hey, Deanna. What's going on, Danny? What's going on, Kenny? What's going on, Big Cap? What's going on, Mel NYC? Hey, Boo. What's going on, Miss Sassy? Hey, Rumors and Tea. Hey, everybody. Okay, I don't want to keep you guys long. I will be dropping the link because I'm sure you guys have perspective. What's going on, Keita? Hey, Todd. Hey, Quiet D. Hey, everybody. So you guys know that we just had a town hall meeting yesterday regarding this temporary reunion at this year's Essence Festival between TeaGIF ensemble cast members Claudia Jordan, who is the creator and founder of TeaGIF, and Funky Dineva, a YouTube and media personality alum. You guys know that there was an explosive breakdown upon Dineva's exit from the show. He wanted a raise from the higher ups that was not honored, and he went to sink the ship and crashed the entire Titanic by being its iceberg, even though his friend Al was still on the Titanic at the time that he tried to sink it. You guys know that there were bundles of insults and accusations made from Funky toward Claudia Jordan. You guys know that Funky Dineva actively sought to tank the entire show by choosing to go live on his own YouTube channel at the same time and day that TeaGIF airs 5 days a week. It was a night and day contrast to the viewership between Funky Show and TeaGIF. We saw how much of an audience of TeaGIF was the Funky Bunch, in fact. So when he left, he took a huge chunk of his audience as well, and it was definitely notable. You guys know that after TeaGIF officially imploded and came to a official end due to a DEI hire who pretty much added insult to injury, better known as More Oil, Horse Wiggins, that it's kind of been still between the TeaGIF crew members until recently, where we saw that Funky Dineva, who was hosting at this year's Essence Festival, put Claudia Jordan on a special guest flyer. And then the next day, kaboom, we saw video footage of him copying a plea to Claudia, telling him how they had lightning in a bottle and essentially how he wants to work again with her, that they need to bring the girls back. All right. Then we turned around and found out that Claudia was to bring on Funky Dineva to her podcast with her co-host called Accidentally Informed. Okay. And this was expected to be a major sit down between Claudia and Funky, and from what I gathered, it appears that from watching the interview now, that at least from Claudia's co-host, matter of fact, let me see what her name is. I don't want to keep referring to her as co-host. Her name is, let me see, Erica. Okay, Erica Cobb. Erica, her co-host Erica, wanted to go in the direction of a very transparent yet forward-moving conversation. That was clearly the direction that Erica wanted to go in, to really kind of, talk about the hard parts of the fallout between Funky and Claudia, which I think was really appropriate to center the conversation around, considering that the things that took place were explosive, and the damage that Funky Dineva did to Claudia's reputation as well as to TeaGIF were all public. So this homicide should be televised. The aftermath of this homicide, the reconciliation around this homicide should absolutely be televised. But at the same time, I had low expectations on this conversation, and you guys know why. I already psychoanalyzed and broke Funky Dineva down to bone marrow, in our previous live stream. So I wasn't expecting much from the narcissist. I wasn't expecting much from the old lady sitting under a tree with her arrogant ass. So I really didn't know what to expect, but I knew not to expect a lot. And to be honest, the interview and the exchange did not pass the vibe test. It actually really upset me for Claudia. It also just upsets me for Funky Dineva because he has such an opportunity to be a representation of manhood despite being gay. And he had such an opportunity to demonstrate accountability and what that really should look like, especially when you go as hard and you act as much of a goddamn fool as Funky Dineva did in his departure from TGIF. So it kind of just re-triggered me all over again, but I kind of really woosayed and called upon the Father, Son, and the Holy Daughter because, you know, I'm going to try my best to have a professional review of this exchange, which I feel like I've been doing really good at. Also, before we even get into the thick of this, I also want to say that I'm a commentator, you guys. I know the Conscious crew and my day ones already know this, but you know, we constantly get an influx of new subbies, and some of those people, I don't know whether they're just used to watching like T channels, which are like non-commentating channels. They're just people who like present the tea and then haul ass. I am a commentator. I am here to give and provide a conversation and to provide insight and to give my opinion. There will be times where I'm not interested in giving commentary and I will just be presenting you guys the tea for the day. But generally speaking, I provide commentary. So you can either just stick to the rivers and the streams that you're used to, if that works for you, or, you know, just get acclimated to the fact that I'm going to provide my insight. And that also is going to allow you to have an opinion about me, depending on how you look at the subject matter for the day. AKA, you guys know that we had a very interesting discussion about Nicki Minaj spiraling, and the fans and the viewers and all social media players were suspecting whether this was the coke and or conspiracy. So there were people who were in the comment section who clearly are probably Onika Minaj Petty the Third fans and Barbs who were just like, oh my God, you go so hard on Nicki. Like, it's not necessary. But I'm like, I've already made it clear though, every time I almost talk about her, that she's a public figure for one, so she's going to be talked about. There's just no way around that. For two, I'm a fan of her music, but not of her persons. I just don't think Nicki Minaj is a really nice person. And the way she's navigated her career and her inability to even keep a female rap friend is very telling. And some of just her missed numbers throughout her career, such as advocating on behalf of her brother who actually assaulted another relative who was 10 years of age, and her writing in a letter to the judge to be lenient upon his sentencing was absolutely insane. I can't unsee something like that. To make matters worse, you then marry a man who is a registered SEX offender and rapist and murderer. I mean, I'm just not really sure what people really expect from people like me, because I'm not so far up any of these public figure and celebrities' asses that it absolves them of being accountable and being preposterous in their actions. Like, you know, I'm gonna talk in a matter of a fact and a for real way about these people. You know, I don't see Nicki or any public figure just as a public figure. These are still people. They're making decisions, and some of those decisions are completely nuts. And we're going to come here and we're going to unpack it and we're going to judge it and we're going to critique it and we're going to give advice and we're going to express ourselves about whatever those decisions are. And then there are other decisions that they're going to make that are going to be great, and we're going to give them their roses accordingly, etc. But yeah, I'm not a fan. So if you are expecting like some type of a fan club platform, that's not the CTV platform. Over here, what we do, I can't speak for the 1 million other YouTube channels over here. Over here, baby, okay, we have a all equal opportunity gag and roast platform. Even our faves have to be dragged, baby. Everybody knows it broke my heart when I had to drag the Dookie breaks right off of Janet Jackson's head. Y'all know Janet Jackson is one of my all-time favorite musical icons. She is the first Beyonce, as far as I'm like that was my first Beyonce before Beyonce was Janet Jackson, okay? Velvet Rope, the Janet era, Rhythm Nation, All For You. you know, the MTV Video Music Awards, but it doesn't really matter, girl. Like, you know, I am a Janet Jackson coon. But when she had the unmitigated audacity to act completely dim-witted when it came to who Kamala Harris is, you know, during one of the most significant presidential events yet in modern history, I was so disappointed that someone of her privilege, someone of her visibility, someone of her level of fame and wealth had the nerve to play stupid and coy when it came to politics, because politics is where all of our lives get real. No matter who you vote for, no matter what your political views are, whomever is in office becomes all of our reality and all of our truth, and we're all impacted by the choices of whomever, Republican, Democrat, liberal, non-party, whatever it is. And I just thought it was completely reckless and audacious and just ignorant of Janet Jackson and her nose to make such petty out of such a significant moment and out of such a significant topic. So we had to drag her, rightfully so. And I cried as I had to drag all of the cosmetic surgery right off of her, girl. I had to edit her back to her original face, okay? And I was pained to have to do that, okay? So over here, look, if my fave can get it, and I'm integral enough to hold my fave accountable, to hold my faves accountable, I'm definitely going to hold your faves accountable, okay? So your faves want to get that work. My faves are going to get that work. Sometimes we're going to have to give our roses to people we don't like generally, but if they do something that is noteworthy and worth praise and acknowledgement, we're going to do that, okay? And vice versa. So, you know, I just want to give that disclaimer, child. You know, this is not a cult over here. This is not a fan following platform, child, okay? We have real conversations and we address real things, and anybody can get that motherfucking work, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it, okay? And if you try to sue me for my opinion and the facts that I slay upon you, you're going to be doing yourself a big disservice, because all I'm going to do is run those same facts back to a judge, and then I'm going to just argue also my First Amendment constitutional right and my right to hyperbolic rhetoric, and then I'm going to issue out a massive ass countersuit and live for the rest of my life very wealthy off of your residual coin. That's how all of that's going to go. Moving into this discussion, this is fair use. We're going to now tap into audio from the Accidentally Informed podcast with Claudia Jordan and Erica Cobb, who sat down with their special guest, Funky Dineva to Talk TGIF. We're going to review, and here's a look and a listen. Make sure you guys thumbs up. And once again, all donation information is in the description box below. Share. And I love you guys long time.
Accepting the invitation.
Thank you for coming to the party.
Listen, first of all, when my text messages go to my laptop, and I don't have all the numbers saved in my laptop. So I saw this number that I ain't talked to in a very long time pop up saying, "Are you gonna be in Essence?" Then I go to my phone, I see it's you. I'm like, what? I'm like, am I being like? Is this for real?
So when did you receive this text message?
Was it Friday? It was Friday, right?
Friday.
Was it Friday?
It was Friday.
Thursday?
It was Friday. It was the day before. It was Friday.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Friday.
I left that day.
It was Friday because you said I was packed. I said, "Hey, are you coming to Essence?" And you said, "I'm packing now. I fly out later tonight."
Yeah. And then he was like, "Come to my party," and I was like, "Okay, sure." And then
let me get in my national talk show host bag. I have some questions. Thank you.
Okay.
So this olive branch we all saw unfold. So you're saying on Friday is when you reached out to Claudia, and then we saw the flyer go out on Instagram. I immediately hearted it with like the flames and everything, because I don't know if you know this, Funky, but I'm constantly like, hey, you know what happened? Can we get some mea culpa? Can we I'm curious. I'm also, perusing some information. So Funky, when did you make the decision that you were going to reach out to Claudia, and why now?
2 seconds.
Guys, thumbs up. So Funky's about to get into the origins of why he reached out to Claudia to begin with.
Before I texted her, and like I said at the party when Claudia walked into the room, days leading up to Essence, old clips of TGIF were coming in my feed somehow. And believe it or not, since I departed the show, whether I curated it on purpose or not, that stuff doesn't pop up in my feed. And so, like, some of our best.
So now this is already a lie out of the gate. And this is why I can't do Funky Dineva. Like, oh, girl, you just gonna start off with lies. Like, we already discussed and we've already played the clips here on this here platform of Funky Dineva doing PSAs and reaching out and begging for Claudia Jordan to recreate him a TGIF check. He's been doing this as far as the top of the year. He's been doing this for the last 4 months, in fact, and he's been vehemently sending his fans, literally telling the Funky Bunch, go blow up Claudia's comment sections, go tell her I want to bring back the girls and I want to get the gang back, and go tell her, you know, it's time for us to make money and take this thing on the road, etc. So him acting like he's just been minding his business all year long, and then he just had this random refiguration of his algorithm that just brought in synchronistically all of the best moments of TGIF, and he was just reliving the golden years and decided to reach out like, are you okay? Like, do content creators realize that the mic is on? Like, sometimes I be like, do content creators actually remember that the mic actually be on? Like, it's almost as like they don't even remember what they've already said and already done over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm just like, baby, the call is coming from inside the house, sir. So no, Funky Dineva just did not just wake up. All of this was strategy on his end. He had been calling out for Claudia, trying to put the Funky Bunch, dog-piled them onto Claudia for the past few months. Claudia literally just acknowledged this. What did she acknowledge this at? She literally just acknowledged this. Was it in Spill It Boy TV's comment section? Yeah, it was in Spill It Boy TV's comment section. Another fellow YouTuber, shout out to Spill It Boy TV. And Claudia literally said, you know, this was my first time hearing from Funky Dineva, was when he reached out to me the day before to put me on the flyer. She said, I had been hearing that he's been wanting to get the show back and get, you know, the group back. He said, she said, but he was saying this on the internet, but he never called me directly. So once again, Funky Dineva is literally all cap. The gag about it is that Funky Dineva tried to utilize his audience to go after Claudia to pump her up to get TGIF back so that it could appear as though that's what the audience wanted, as if that's what the people wanted, because Funky Dineva does have an issue with humility and vulnerability. And instead of him just, if it was genuine, sitting in himself and realizing, wow, I made some mistakes. I did Claudia really wrong along the way, leaving TGIF. I would love, first and foremost, to take responsibility for my behavior, to issue her a rightful apology, both privately and publicly. And I will also be interested in moving forward professionally as well. Let me call her and be the man that my mother never raised me to be. And then the rest literally could have been history. But because he has a narcissistic complex and he's arrogant and self-centered and self-serving, and he doesn't have an actual soul, he's all cerebral and shallow, he had to then pump his audience up so that the optics can look like, oh girl, you haven't seen Claudia? The people, the fans, the viewers want us back. The people want us back. No, you need a check and you need clout and you pooped on a really good thing, and don't slide that off onto your fan base. Don't slide that off onto viewers. Stand in your shit. I mean, it's literally just that simple. So right out of the gate, Funky is just lying and just doing egotistical shit as if we haven't been reporting loud, live, and in color and playing clips from his show where he is literally crying out to Claudia for another check, for another $250,000 bonus. Make it make sense. Anyway, I'm going to press play.
Moments popped up in my feed, like where is the leg, and like some of the other famous moments. And I just stopped for a moment and I was like, you know, damn, like we used to have fun, you know, and you spend that 30-second, 50-second moment just closing your eyes, just reveling in the fun of it all. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of softened my heart to the situation. And then knowing who Claudia is and what she does for a living and how popular she is, I was like, it's not far-fetched that she would be at Essence. And I was like, you know, shit, the show is over at this point. Ain't no need for nobody to be mad at no damn body because the shit's gone. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not one of those people that harboring bitterness, harboring anger makes you look old. You know what I'm saying? I think anger and I think bitterness, I think it's a waste of an emotion. So I was like, you know, shit, I'm feeling good. The clips got me feeling soft. I reached out to Claudia and I said, hey girl, you know, are you coming to Essence? She was like, yeah. And I was like, you should stop by the party. And she was like, okay. And I was like, you know what? Like, we'll really mess up the internet if I put you on the flyer. She was like, go ahead. And
you know what's funny? You don't know this, but before you text me that, I had drafted a message saying we should really fuck him up and like, you know, announce it. And then and then I deleted it. I go, no, he might think I'm being thirsty, trying to clout face. I was in my head, so I deleted it.
And then I said it.
And I was like, fuck yeah, let's run it up. So,
and it worked. And what people witnessed was just, you know, it was an organic moment. She walked through the door and I had the DJ stop and I didn't think about anything. I just said what I was feeling in the moment and what I had been feeling for the last couple of days.
It felt like I was getting proposed to from a boyfriend I ain't talked to in a long time. I couldn't act a fool because there was too many people in the room. And I was like, but then you're like, but it's nice, but it's still nice. You know what I'm saying? Like it was, I did see some people say, oh.
And I'm glad that she owned that because as I said yesterday, it was definitely giving bridesmaid, honey. It was definitely giving bridesmaid.
Plan this. I'm like, no.
No.
There was no planning of this. And it was very organic. It was very in the moment. And I think that's, you can tell from the reaction of the people that were there and from our faces. Like we were like, oh, okay. So yeah, it was nice.
I want to like actually kind of unpack this too, because obviously, you know, I mentioned that I did a national talk show as well, because I'm familiar with ensembles. And I think for the average viewer, the average viewer doesn't necessarily understand the chemistry, the dynamics, the complexity of being a part of an ensemble cast. And sometimes there's fallout, and clearly there was fallout between the two of you. So anytime, you know, obviously most people are I won't even say most, I won't quantify it, but a lot of people are super excited and happy about this moment. But a lot of people, because they personally relate to you as a person and a personality, have feelings about what happened and how we are today. So I know that this is all love and everything's positive. I just want to go over a couple of comments that came through to give you guys an opportunity to respond. So,
period, baby. Okay, so Erica, baby, was trying to get into her Iyanla bag, girl. Okay, she was trying to give Dineva that put your face in the hole and tell it how you feel. Tell the earth how you feel. Put your face in the hole. Okay, she was trying to get in her Iyanla bag. Now, this is where Dineva really rears his narcissistic head. This is where he really rears it. Okay. Now, mind you, he also just consented. She literally just said what she was about to do. You know, I know y'all keeping it real PG-13 right now, bitch. Let's get rated R. Let's get funky with it, okay? I'm going to bring forth some comments, you know, so we can just kind of navigate this thing and close this thing off and edge this thing off real well. Claudia nods and says, okay. Funky nods and says, okay. Listen to what's about to happen next.
Claudia, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Love me some funky Dineva, but where was he wrong? Claudia should be apologizing. Didn't she betray him?
Don't answer that.
Well, in the comments I did, I said it.
Yeah, but I like, you know, Erica, in all, I mean, we can go through them. I just don't think getting into the weeds of it all makes any sense at this point. What happened?
So we can't get into them then. We can't get into them then. If we can get into them, let the part of you that believes we can get into them, because I just said I want to get into them. You just said we could get into them, but you don't think. But since there's a part of you that could get into them, that's willing to get into them, let's get into them. Fucking Dineva's going to really reveal why he don't want to get into them, and we already know why he doesn't want to get into the weeds and the details and the devil, because that's what the devil is, baby. The devil and the enemy and the demons in hell be in the details of it all.
Well, in the comments, I said.
Yeah, but I like, you know, Erica, in all, I mean, we can go through them. I just don't think getting into the weeds of it all makes any sense at this point. What happened. People are going to feel what they feel. Claudia has her vantage point of what happened. I have my vantage point of what happened. Al has his vantage point of what happened, and it ain't changing. You know what I'm saying? All we can do is bury that. You know what I mean?
No, what we could do is talk about this like grown ass people, because the issue here, I'm gonna let it play some more.
And just choose to start anew. But I don't think getting into the minutia of audience comments and what folks got to say, I don't think that's the smartest thing to do at this time, in all honesty.
And I completely respect that.
Well, I don't, Erica. I don't respect it, because it'll be one thing, right? If the falling out was private, if the falling out was completely private, it was behind the fourth wall, it was behind the curtains, it was under the sheets, that's appropriate. Like, I'm not bringing the public into private discord and a private breakdown, because it's none of the public's motherfucking business. Okay, the public didn't witness the fallout, so the public don't need no real discord and conversation about the fallout. However, this ain't that. This was very much so public slander. This was very much so an entire witch hunt that literally went on until TGIF folded, until there was nothing left of the Titanic from aerial view, until the Titanic was completely buried. There was nothing more of the Titanic. It was resting at the bottom of the sea. That's how long Funky launched an entire assault against TGIF. And because of that, there does need to be a private discord. The fact that this was also an ensemble cast, there's a live viewing audience. The public also deserves to understand the psychology of the reconciliation and to have personal closure as well for what we all were forced to bear witness to. For those of us who were fans, for those of us who did watch the show faithfully, I love TGIF. I reported on TGIF. He's right. They all clearly had lightning in a bottle. Things were on the up and up, and then kaboom. It just seems that ensemble curse always takes place when things are at the height. And it's very weird to go from this massive public divorce, a very nasty, ugly, destructive, malicious public divorce, and then just be back together and kind of keep the public out of it, as if viewers and fans who supported the show, I mean, let's be honest, it was because of our click and views. It was because of us clicking and viewing the content that helped the show to sustain, to compete, to stream across multiple platforms, because of viewership increasing, the public directly being responsible for why contracts can be renegotiated, salaries can be renegotiated. Absolutely, the public deserves insight, and Claudia deserves it, because it is narcissistic of Funky Dineva to have not given a damn about the way his actions, his verbiage, his narratives costed Claudia, the way they impacted her show, and left her to burn in the flames of passion. And now on makeup day, he wants the convenience of not having to sit in that same fire pit and deal with that same fire that he so carelessly and so brazenly was okay with being completely apathetic toward Claudia, being singed and burnt to a crisp end. And this is literally the narcissism of it all personified. This is literally the gaslighting, narcissistic tactic of it all. It's the audacity for me to have put you through something that I could not have survived a third of had it been me. For me to have put you through anything that I'm unwilling to be put through. It's the unmitigated audacity for me. The fact that even now, as gracious as Claudia has been to even take his texts, to even allow him to clout and grift off of her by putting her on that damn flyer, by even showing up and being remotely open to hearing what the hell he even had to say, given that she hasn't even spoken to him. He's not even issued an intimate apology. He's not even initiated a private apology. This is the most shallow, knee-jerk, hooked on phonics attempt on Funky's part of reconciliation, and you would almost think that this was the behavior and execution of a fifth grader, because it lacks that much adulthood. It lacks that much substance. It lacks that much testicular power and strength, baby. It lacks that much. Dang it. I don't just stay on his neck. My foot is wherever the necks need to be. Okay? Wherever the necks that need a foot is wherever. Okay? And it's just unfortunate that there are certain people that end up on my docket who are just repeat offenders. They're just repeat offenders. So we never have the opportunity to actually release foot, release guy's neck. So, it's a permanent placement until there is a shift in the matrix. So, this is the most basic hooked on phonics way of even executing a waving of the white flag, a public reconciliation, and for Claudia to have obliged all of that, only for you to sit in her podcast space, in her face, and tell her and her co-host Erica that you're not interested in having the real conversation. Then what and why in the hell did your diabetic body ass show up to begin with? Why did your type 2 foot in the body ass even show up to the conversation for? What the fuck did you think you were here to do? Because don't act like you ain't reading your own comment section and you can't see all of the things, all other things. It's clear that the public largely doesn't want there to be a moving forward until there is clarity about what is and what ain't, about who's who and who's what, because you attempting to just slide back into business and a commentary space with Claudia Jordan without reconciliation still puts everybody on edge, because you are leaving the people that believed you about Claudia to still believe those things, to believe that she's the she-devil, that she's the she-man of the issue, that she's the culprit. You refusing to clear it entirely also leads to people that love her and maybe even love you, but can honestly also hold you accountable and say you wrong as hell. It leaves them unable to really relate and connect to you in that way, because you're leaving the narrative in everybody else's hands when you know what the truth is. You the one who been begging for this. Claudia has not sought your attention, your friendship, your businessship. As I said yesterday, she hasn't even missed a beat since she left TGIF, baby. She done been on several reality shows. She's on 2-3 podcasts. She's in movies. She's traveling. She's hosting. She's on the BET red carpet. Claudia has not missed a damn beat. She's probably working more now than she then was at that damn time. Okay? She's always been a multiple bag gatherer. So for you to even have initiated all of this, all this fluff, all this bravado, you manufactured all of this coming together, and then you want the convenience and the luxury of total qualified immunity. That is bullshit, and that's real little dick energy. Real little dick energy. And maybe that's why Funky Dineva gets away with being a top, baby, because, you know, it ain't no pressure applied to that backside. It's giving real little meat energy. And honestly, like, I feel insulted because gay men get a lot of heat already. And, you know, constantly there's a general consensus that the LGBT community don't hold their own accountable. This is why I have to hold everybody accountable. This is why I got to keep my foot on women's neck, on men's neck, on niggas' neck, on gay people's neck, because it got to be equal opportunity. I don't believe in any group or tribe having a qualified immunity. If there needs to be motherfucking accountable, I don't give a damn how gay you is, bitch. You can get this work and you can get this accountability. That's why I will hold Wiggins accountable. I'll hold the Dinevas accountable. Being gay doesn't spare you. Being trans doesn't spare you. Being woman doesn't spare you. Being man doesn't spare you. Being black doesn't spare you. I go out of my way to try to be an equal opportunist. An equal opportunist in my assessment and in holding feet to the fire. That's what I literally am intentional about doing, so that nobody can bring their ass over here and say, CTV only, he only be on the straight folk. He'll never. Nope, I do, baby. I call out every fuck. I tug on all lace fronts and do-rags. All lace fronts and do-rags. All of them. All of them. All of them. Gather them up, baby, and put their ass on a grill and turn it on the highest 450-degree setting. Roasted and toasted. But this is some bullshit. This is audacious. And to be honest, Claudia Jordan should have ended the motherfucking live stream right there when that bitch said that. When that nigga said, don't answer that, and clearly demonstrated that he wanted some qualified immunity because he didn't want to have to sit up on that cross. He didn't want to have to really clear any of his fake ass narratives, because Funky knows that if he clears Claudia for real, then there gets to be an indictment against his character. And he don't want that. He still wants the luxury, despite how contradictory and how much his own behavior exposes him. We don't even really need him, right, to be integral enough to say anything, because his actions tell the truth regardless. But in his own delusional mind, he believes in the egoic image and the idealistic image he upholds of himself. And in that frame, he sits there and believes, I'm integral, I tell the truth, and I want people to believe that if I get my ass on this podcast and let Claudia and Erica ass put me in a situation, bitch, to where I gotta specifically clear specific things, speak to specific things, it means I'm going to have to tell the fucking truth. And then telling the truth is going to be a problem, because the truth is contrary to the narrative I put out to the public and to my audience that resulted in a massive versus match between the Funky Dineva platform and the TeaGIF platform. That's why he don't want to speak to none of the real questions and don't want to have the real conversation. Because the real conversation now sets up for the truth to be prioritized. And the truth is going to contradict the narratives that he's not man enough to own up to and say, look, y'all, I lied. I got in my feelings. I misfired. You know, I misfired, baby. I was really mad at my check, and Foxhole not putting my ass on Obamacare. I was upset that Foxhole didn't put me on, at the very least, Medicaid, after they were not going to escalate my salary. Yeah. And then when Al Reynolds sent me screenshots of Claudia Jordan basically saying, why should we have to do a formal goodbye tribute show to him when he wasn't even kind enough, professional enough, friendly enough, loving enough, considerate enough to at least tell us that he was leaving and that he wasn't coming back. I had to hear through this from producers and word them out while I'm on vacation, shaking my ass in Dubai on top of a pyramid in a thong. And this the thanks that I get for putting these bitches on? Huh? And Claudia was justified in feeling that way. Like, why we gotta go high when he go low? Shit, let's just do the Monday show and act like ain't nothing happened. Act like there ain't even a third seat. Empty, honey. He think he can just haul off, leave us in a tizzy, leave us with no plan of action, leave us with nothing. At the very least, you know, how he feel about the higher ups is one thing, but damn, me and you love each other. We friends, bruh. I put you on. So this project isn't just between you and the corporation. It's between me and you. And you could have at least had the decency to send me a text and say, hey, Claudia, I didn't even know I had to renegotiate my contract. You know, HR called me. They didn't acquiesce to some of the things that I needed, and I'm deciding to depart the show. I just wanted to give you a heads up. Even if he didn't want to do, you know, a formal goodbye show and come on and make the formal announcement, which really would have been the real decent thing to fucking do. Especially considering that there is a big friendship element that's tethered into this bitness between him and Fox. Because it was also between him and Claudia. And I just could not imagine doing that to somebody who had the nerve to see my natural chemistry with them, pitch that as a show idea to a network, and put me in a position to make $250,000 motherfucking dollars 1 hour out of 4 days of the week. I mean, that is a insane lick. That's insane. I don't even know if there is a better lick. Okay, that's still hands down the lick of all licks, girl. Could you imagine $250K a year, 1 hour out of the day, 4 days a week from your home in your drawers? This is still one of the most iconic alley-oops and licks of all licks. Okay, this is the upgrade that Beyonce was talking to Jay-Z ass about, baby. Okay, I know the niggas keep the street lights on, but the women keep the tempo. Talk your Beyonce. So, you know, if Funky Dineva had any ability to bring any intelligence to his emotions, have that very high EQ, that emotional intelligence, he would have been able to successfully compartmentalize and say, all right, fuck Fox. I ain't fucking with them. But in respect and honor to my bitch who put me the fuck on, who took a chance on me, who put up with my shit, even when I was sabotaging the show, accidentally flaming up Chloe Bailey, flaming up Blue Ivy, suspending our ass for a week. Okay, she put up with my shit. She put me the fuck on. The decent thing to do would be able to at least hit this damn lady up and let her know that I'm not returning. So sorry things didn't work out. And if it would be any constellation, I am willing to do a formal goodbye. Hell, maybe I'll stick around for the rest of the damn week, give y'all a week to figure out who my replacement going to be, and then I'm out. Just in honor of the friendship portion, because it wasn't like Claudia, Al, and Funky are all independent individuals who all filled out a application to work for Fox and then came together by way of applying to Fox independently of each other. And then there was a breakdown between the company and Funky. No, this was the idea of your friend. This all stood on the shoulders of your friend. And that should have been something to be considered on breakdown day or termination day. And I know that some of y'all really believe in people being able to be harsh and being able to not give a fuck and y'all love like that no F energy, but that's not my type of tea. I need human beings to be human beings, and I need situations to have humanity. And y'all all like that type of carrying on until it's a bitch giving y'all a big F to kiss, until it's somebody giving y'all they ass the motherfucking kiss. Claudia deserved more than that from Funky, given the circumstances and the situations. And if he was any type of a decent ass human beings, nobody would have had to talk him into that. That would have been the natural rollout of his behavior. That would have been given birth to out of the decency in him. But because Funky is self-serving, he don't give by nobody else. Of course, it was going to be all about him. All about him. And now he's sitting in this conversation talking about he don't want to have the tough conversation, and he don't want to have to really clear nothing up, because it's not about stirring shit up, baby. You already done did that for a year. And with all that you did, as much as you stirred up, you and Claudia were still able to get to a point where y'all could sit down. So don't act like it's going to stir something up that's going to impact y'all. The only thing that impacted you and Claudia was you. It was not the public. It was you who led that charge. Y'all did a whole show together while the public was saying all type of shit in the comment sections. Y'all still carried on. So don't act like, oh, all of a sudden, if we get to speak into some of this stuff, it's going to drive me and Claudia apart, when the thing that drove you and her apart was you. It was never what the public thought. It was never the public feedback. It was you. You didn't want to answer those questions, because those questions you would have had to answer honestly, because you wouldn't have had the liberty of lying in Claudia's face now that you're in her face. So answering the hard questions and taking questions from the comment section was going to put that truth at the top of the line, baby. And you can't do that because you don't want to have to admit that you lied on this damn lady.
I just want to be very clear too. Claudia has not seen any of these questions, because honestly, the reason why I'm asking these questions is because I think if you speak to anyone who's been a part of an ensemble, especially after years of being together, people don't really understand that, like, it's not, I would always say about my co-hosts, like, I will love them forever, but there are times I just do not like them and they don't like me. And that's just what it is, because it's almost like this, it's a family dynamic. Sometimes you have your family together and you're kicking it once a year on the lakefront. Sometimes you have family members who just can never make it to the lake, going back to, you know, what we were talking about earlier. So I just find it interesting, because I'm not trying to like stir things up. What I'm trying to do is resonate with the audience that just feels like maybe this is indicative of something that they've experienced in their lives, and this is something that they're working through as well. And I think that there were a lot of reasons why this became a viral moment. And one of those was the study of human behavior. How do two people who had a public falling out get to this point? And that's the only reason why I wanted to bring that up.
I get it.
You get it, but yet you don't want to have the conversation. And it's just really a shame at how weak and fragile Funky Dineva is, that this black woman, Erica, had to pretty much explain the way she is still handling his ego with kid gloves, instead of Funky Dineva ready to be accountable and ready to be a motherfucking man and understand the assignment. The fact that Erica literally had to explain, for the sake of his fragile ass ego, the fact that she had to handle his fragile ass ego with kitty gloves, because he is not a full man, because he's not fully and competently intact as a man. And to make sure that he don't get in his fragile ass fifis, to make sure that he don't get into his estrogen bag, you know, she had to lay out and make sure he understood this was a safe space, when, bitch, you the one who created all this. You the one, baby. You the one. And once again, just the audacity to think that you just gonna come walk through the door because you now ready to be married again after you done cheated down to the ground and gave a bitch all type of STIs and STDs, done had a baby out of wedlock, and because a year or two later, baby, you ready to be with your wife again, honey, she just supposed to just acquiesce because you just that valuable as a human being that anybody should just deem themselves lucky that you even want their ass and are willing to accommodate and align yourself with their ass. It's literally the sickness, the mental sickness of the narcissism of it all.
Yeah, and Erica's very thoughtful about these types of things and likes to do the deeper dive. Her podcast about the comeback and coming back from things. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know my thing, Claudia, it spawns 9 million other YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just like all of your slander and all of your threats and you competing with the show, you kept up that shit for 7 months. 7 months straight. You didn't give a damn about all the think pieces on Claudia Jordan. You didn't give a damn about all the people villainizing her, making her the evil Beyonce of Destiny's Damn Children. You didn't give a damn about none of that, baby. When Claudia had to deal with the repercussions of your foolishness, of your temperament, of your lack of emotional intelligence, of your rage baiting, it wasn't a problem. When she had to not even go on social media just to avoid all of the negative headlines about herself and the witch hunt against her, because as far as the Funky Bunch was concerned, she was just a lowbrow biracial hoe who was helping a white corporation to underhand the pay of a black man. And this was happening on the same timeline that Taraji P. Henson and the Oprah Color Purple situation was going down. And Taraji was making statements about, black women like herself not being paid their worth, etc. And Funky Dineva was trying to pivot off of that narrative. Didn't give a damn. Did not care.
Spawns team wars. Like how do you answer that? Doesn't Claudia owe Funky Dineva an apology too? And then you don't say what they want you to say, and then it creates 400 think pieces. And then, in moments of weakness, we start reading that stuff and start believing that stuff, and we're back where we left. And for me, I don't want to go back, but
I hear what you're saying. I think with us moving forward, I think what would be good probably for us is a conversation about anything that I had without an audience.
Most definitely.
I think, because I do think that there is no way to truly move on from things. It's just so, we're good, because things will just come right back, right? The first time something goes left, bitch, I knew you was like that, or I knew they told me you burned me again. And I do believe in having like I remember doing some reality shows with some people where I said, turn the cameras off because I want a real conversation with this person. Because I actually am trying to get through it. I'm not trying to have a moment. I'm not trying to have a viral moment. So I do feel like I would love to come down to Florida, or if you ever come to Dallas, and have a real conversation where we work our, no matter what happens, if we work together or not, we showed on that video that there was still some love there for each other. And I feel like it kind of healed a little part of both of our hearts that day. I don't know. I
agree. I mean,
it was like, okay, one less person
it doesn't like me or put negative energy. I completely feel the same way. And I just think it's just one of those things that's what's done is done, and what's going to be is what's going to be. For me, again, being bitter, being mad, being angry, I think it's just wasted emotion. I think enough time had gone past. And listen, outside of work, we were a good time. Like when you guys came down to Miami, we were a good time. We used to have good times. And like I said at the thing, we had lightning in a goddamn bottle. We really did. And there was no reason, well, there was a lot of reasons why TGIF would go to the top, but there was no reason that show couldn't have gone to the top with what we had. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be the first person to say I definitely miss the magic that we used to make, but I don't miss the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people were asking, you know, do you regret leaving? I absolutely do not regret leaving.
Now, let me tell y'all something. This is interesting, right? For one, this goes back to that narcissistic deflecting, right? Right? I'm going to love bomb you instead of acknowledge what I did, the nature of my behavior, how I know that impacted you, and take responsibility for that. This is that narcissist. I want to avoid nuance in this conversation and just love bomb you and lightning in the bottle and you the baddest bitch and you everything, girl, and hope that you are egocentric and egotistical enough to not understand that I'm actually not taking responsibility for a damn thing right now because you are so enchanted by all of the fluffing that I'm doing to your ego that you forget that I haven't acknowledged a damn thing. I haven't given you any fucking valuable information about my behavior, about my rhetoric, about my actions, about my anything. I haven't demonstrated a lick of damn empathy at this goddamn point. Actually, if you are not blinded by your ego, you would realize that I'm just as dangerous right now as I was a year ago. You know, if you're not in your ego, but you're in your spiritual eye, you would understand how I'm alley-ooping and psychologically playing you against yourself right now, that I'm actually weaponizing you against yourself by using that ego that feels so good when somebody is just pouring sweet affections all over us in place and in supplement of accountability. These are the type of slick ass powerful psychological games that narcissistic, egocentric, psychological psychopaths play on people. And if you are not a super aware and super centered person, it will all go over your face. And then that's why you'll be scratching your head later on like, damn, how we back in this shit? And he apologized or she apologized, not even knowing until you really sober up in spirit. Now, wait a minute, bitch, now that I think about it, this motherfucker really didn't give me any reason to have taken him back to begin with. I just fell for all the compliments and all the fluff and all the bullshit, all the love bombing. This happens to everyday people, people from all walks of life. And so this is a necessary think piece because this is a one-on-one in narcissistic pathology and conduct and what narcissists look like when they're attempting to fake perform virtue and how it is actually synthetic and inorganic to the real thing. Baby, this bag came straight up out of China, not Italy, bitch.
Never regret choosing me over what was a toxic environment. I can miss the magic we had and still hold disdain for the bullshit that was the whole show. You know what I'm saying? So for those who are wondering, no, I don't regret leaving. Leaving was the right thing for me to do in that moment. At that point, it wasn't about the show. It wasn't about Al. It wasn't about Claudia. It was about, I didn't like coming to work being stressed out and I didn't need the money.
I know you said that you left over the $250 and then...
I was part of it as well.
Yeah. What was the bigger deal for you?
I don't know that one was the bigger deal. I think, well, I do know what the bigger deal was. The bigger deal was the everyday bullshit. The bigger deal was every day coming to work and it was a gripe from somebody or somewhere. And it was just like, God damn it, what is it today? You know what I'm saying? And so
I have a different memory because when we left, when it ended, it was like January, right? When you left. But right before that November, remember we went to Houston and we were all having fun together. And after Houston, I felt like we weren't beefing, none of us, right? Mm-hmm. We were kind of like clowning Joyce in her little 20-ass shoes. She had fun and we was having a good time. We went to the club in Houston, everything. Good time. Within a month and a half, your contract stuff came up. So it was like the timing of that. So really, we weren't beefing at the time when you left.
No, you and I weren't beefing. You and I didn't develop whatever until I departed. That's when things got cloudy for me.
I'm coming, y'all. Now, I want y'all to catch the gag, right? Did y'all just catch the play? Did y'all just catch the play, you all? Did y'all just catch the play? This whole time, he's been testing having to speak to the way he hurt Claudia, the way he injured Claudia, and his villainous role in this whole play, right? But look at how he was willing to get into his victim bag. Look at how he was so willing, baby. Oh no, baby. We're not gonna talk about the way I was a villain. We ain't got time for that. It's petty. It's counterproductive. It's not necessary. We ain't gotta open up a can of beans, a can of worms, baby. Oh. But you want to talk about me being the victim? Me being the victim? Oh yes, baby. Let's talk about what they all did to me and how Claudia also kind of had her hand in that shit too, even though I already done said that Claudia was never an issue. I never hated her. We were on great terms. Claudia just literally alley-ooped that nigga in the conversation and said, yeah, I was completely hoodwinked and bamboozled because me and you were still friends upon your departure. So I literally had no idea what the you were talking about and what the you were hooting and hollering about. Look at how he just deflected, girl, from wanting to talk about him being the bad guy. Oh, but let's talk about him being the victim. Oh, we can have that conversation, baby. We can talk about East, West, North, and South and how they all contributed, baby. How they all hurt me, how they all betrayed me, baby. How they all did me dirty, did me wrong. This is the gaslighting of it all. He doesn't want to give Claudia the experience of accountability and responsibility and affirm her and clear her name. But he wants the liberty of being able to stand in the victim seat and be able to put an address on it and have that recognized and acknowledged. Baby, if you don't get away from me with this Apollo.
But there was still a bunch of chaos going on. It was just chaos that, in my mind, was just unnecessary. So when you're coming to work and it's just always something, I'm equipped to deal with monumental problems. I'm not equipped to deal with small, gnat-like, mosquito-like bullshit. And it was just always something.
This is insanity. I know folks wanted to avoid the 50 million 11,900 think pieces on YouTube, girl. But if you wanted to do that, you really just should have kept all this to yourself, baby. You should have just never even re-entered the space with Claudia. The audacity for him to try to prop himself up as, you know, I major in the major things. I don't get down there and squabble, you know, with you petty people and y'all petty, low vibrational shit. Even though I sit up on a platform and say and talk about low vibrational shit every single day, even though I was the one to blow the entire lid off of the TeaGIF shit and throw gasoline already onto an open blaze, even though I was the one caught in text messages with Reynolds behind Claudia's back, dragging her about her cars and her house and how she probably making more money than y'all while y'all was sitting there with green envy about the way this woman was spending her money. The same $250,000 that everybody had, but because she was utilizing it in a way that reflected her salary by putting it into her home, putting it into her lifestyle, letting it be known that I'm definitely a $250,000 ass bitch. And you niggas, instead of utilizing that $250 to also buy y'all a house, Reynolds, since you were only renting a room up in the goddamn Trump Towers the entire time that you were on TeaGIF. Funk it out even instead of you leveling up with that 250, instead of living out back in somebody's damn lakeside shed. Y'all were behind the scenes cackling. What did Nicki Minaj say? Are you bitches mumbling and cackling? Y'all mumbling and cackling? But you don't major in the little girl shit. You don't major, honey. You don't specialize, shy, in the catty shit. You don't specialize in the estrogen shit, bitch. You was in your estrogen bag from the moment you left the business from the moment you left the network. And these are why Funky have to be called out, because it be literally the sheer lies and the sheer mania, the sheer delusions of grandeur of it all. The sheer delusion of grandeur. Just say it, baby. Oh, I don't specialize in the bullshit. You know, give me real issues. Girl, what?
But there was still a bunch of chaos going on. It was just chaos that, in my mind, was just unnecessary. So when you're coming to work and it's just always something, I'm equipped to deal with monumental problems. I'm not equipped to deal with small, gnat-like, mosquito-like bullshit. And it was just always something from somewhere. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not calling on it. It was just always something. So I'm already sitting on pins and needles like, y'all know I don't like to work. Okay, I gotta be here every day at 8 o'clock.
And that is nobody's motherfucking problem. You a grown-ass motherfucking man who signed up for a job. And you had to put up with a job like anybody else. Fucking Nigga is talking as if he's doing somebody else a favor while he's the one collecting $250,000. He don't have $250K to give the Fox. Let's be very clear here. While you may have had more of the social equity amongst both of your panelists, but you were not the wealthiest and the richest and the most acute when it came to the coin. Fucking Nigga is acting like he's doing somebody a favor. Y'all know I don't like to work. Who gives a fuck? You chose to work. Did you think you were going to collect $250,000 on your asshole? Is that what you have brought your delusional ass brain to believe? That I'm doing Foxo a favor? Baby, Foxo made you $250,000 richer. Okay? You had to do the least and still benefited from the most. Who is supposed to give a damn that he doesn't like to work? Then don't work. Don't work. Because this is what grown people do who sign up for projects, who sign up to be a part of a brand, who sign up to be a part of a network. They have to work. Nobody gives a damn about what you don't prefer to do. This is what you're doing, and this is what comes with the job. And to be honest, the fact that you couldn't even make working from home for an hour poetic is absolutely insanity. Baby, so just like I said in my previous commentary, girl, when Wiggins had tore down the damn place and left a crater in Foxhole's place, girl, I said, bitch, they wouldn't have been able to even get evil up out of me, baby. Because the way I would have did my job on screen and then sat my ass in those team meetings with my lips closed. CTV, you got anything to say? Nope. CTV, you got any problems? Nope. CTV, you got any input? Nope. Not for $250,000, bitch. I ain't got no input. Not for $250,000 motherfucking dollars. I ain't got no motherfucking problem. Not for 250 motherfucking K for 1 hour out of 4 days a week, baby. I ain't got nothing to say. Nope. Anything you want to tell us? Anything you want to give us? You know, anything that's a problem with production on your cat? Nope. Nope. Baby, the way everybody else up in the meetings would have been tearing each other up while I would have been sitting there doing the mannequin challenge. It's quiet, bitch. Ain't no back talk on my end. Baby, the way, bitch, you would not have been able to slide me in the alley-oop, the slip and slide, put me on a banana peel to get me to say and do anything, baby. Okay, that was going to be to destructive ends. No, ma'am. I'm just fine, girl. Thank you for the $250,000 opportunity, and y'all were gracious enough, baby, to let me only have to get dressed from the waist up, bitch, dangling, hanging out like a motherfucker. at the computer chair, girl. You were kind enough to even send me the laptop and the webcam and the green screen to go along with it, bitch. I ain't got no, baby. I got $250,000 blessings. Baby, I don't even know how you fuck up 1 hour a day for $250K. I don't even know how you do it. I don't even know how you do it. Even Funky Dineva wanting more money. It's like, okay, I'm not going to argue somebody out of going for whatever they think they want to go for. But at the end of the day, girl, considering that you're only giving up yourself of 1 hour and you only have to be dressed from the belly button up, bitch. Girl, this is an easy side hustle, girl. It's almost like running an Amazon store, girl. Like you're licking stamps and putting them on boxes at this point, while able to enter into a higher level of tax bracket from doing so. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Net like mosquito, like bullshit. And it was just always something from somewhere. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not calling on it. It was just always something. So I'm already sitting on pins and needles like, y'all know I don't like to work. Okay, I got to be here every day at 8 o'clock. And then I was misled in my original.
Funky, do you have anything, to share any input about, the unbecoming behavior of your co-host, Al Reynolds? Nope. Do you have any issues with the tension between Al and Claudia? Nope. Do you have any? Nope. Bitch, the way my nope would have been set up eternally, baby, they would have just eventually let me go after work, bitch. You wouldn't even know, no reason to even bring me into the damn meeting, baby. I would have had 250,000 no's. Nope, nope, nope. 250,000 notes is what I had to give, girl, in them team meetings, baby.
Contract negotiation. Mm-hmm. And when my contract came up and they did not make right on what they misled me into signing that 6-month contract for, I was just like, there's no reason for me to stay. They're just,
which I knew nothing about.
No, you guys didn't know about my contract.
Yeah,
you guys knew about my contract.
We're all separate with us.
Yeah, we were all separate.
Did you know that at the time, though? Because I'm just curious when you said that you were misled. Is that a situation where, as time went on after the show was over, you learned new information that potentially changed your mind about how things went down or who might have been to blame?
No. There was no new information. I exited with the same level of clarity that I have today. The short of it is I was convinced to sign a 6-month contract. And
I know people who have been able to survive and navigate drama in the workplace for far less than $250K a year. I know people who got to put up with real shit in real life, baby, and are navigating that shit easy breezy beautiful for less, for common person's wage. I know people who have to put up with worse, who are classier and for far less, girl, on common man's wage. There ain't nothing Funky can say to make his behavior make sense, which is why he always got to speak about the TGIF shit in a super vague way, and he always have to speak and do like this roundabout and say real general and kind of just want to move on to the next thing, Claudia, about it, because Funky knows his issues ultimately are substanceless, that they don't rank on the hierarchy. They don't rank.
I was told that what I was asking for during that contract renewal will be addressed at the end of that 6 months, because I was going to walk then. And I don't want people to think that, oh, I'm being selfish or I thought that I was bigger than the show. But the reality of the situation is I did not need Fox Soul to sit on YouTube. I had been on YouTube for, at this point, 14 years. And so I'm sitting in a space, essentially what I was helping create over at Fox Soul, I could have just continued to do for myself like I had been doing for over a decade.
This logic makes no freaking sense, sir. You do need Fox to have $250,000 residually. What are you talking about you didn't need? He act like Social Blade don't exist where you can go and see the earnings of all content creators. You're not making $200,000 a year from YouTube. $250,000 is the ultimate side lick. And then here's the gag. The whole talking point that basically what he was trying to allude to is that I had an issue with like the fact that Fox Soul, like I didn't need them to be a YouTuber. I'm already in that space. So what else could Fox Soul give to me? Sir, you know what the sad part about your logic is? Bitch, you ain't did shit since your ass left there. You still on fucking YouTube. So what are you talking about? And then did you not forget how Fox Soul was about to alley-oop y'all ass into a whole live studio situation? Fox Soul was about to literally put y'all in the studio. They were literally doing test runs with y'all. They were doing whole test runs with y'all. So what are you talking about? TGIF was on the up and up and the 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 up. And to Claudia's point, TGIF didn't just stream on YouTube. It's all over Tubi. It's all over Hulu. It's streaming all over other streaming services where people can literally watch TGIF from their homes within their preferred cable packages. Let's say Fox Soul would have never upgraded y'all. Y'all just would have been digital media, a digital ensemble cast. Great. Because have you not seen any of the statistics and data, fuck it, Dineva? Do you know that cable has completely died and that most people receive their information and their entertainment from YouTube? Cable television is not even a thing. Digital media is literally new media. It is the media. Why do you think legacy media was trying to take advantage of all of those content creators down there to the Diddy trial reporting? They are trying to alley-oop and now ride the bandwagon of the direction media has now gone in, which is digitalized entertainment and information. YouTube is literally leading in that. So where was there for Fox Soul to take you per se, rather than just continuing to rev up viewership and work toward perfecting a quality show that continues to trend, make headwaves, contracts can be bigger and bigger and bigger, the sky's the limit. Right from the comfort of your own motherfucking home. And let's be honest, half the chemistry wasn't even there in person than it was when y'all were all reporting loud, live, and in color from your homes. It felt much more personable and much more like pillow talk, knowing that you all were in y'all homes just talking shit at the kitchen table. It felt too polished when I saw y'all in the studio. It felt too formal. It felt too glossy. It took away from the authenticity of the show. I did not think the in-person was as strong as the original format. Plus, you being viewed on landscape mode ain't really help you out anatomically either. But that's another story for another day, Funky. Okay? The reality is, we don't know what the hell you even talking about, girl. Okay? This was an easy lick. This was an easy side hustle lick. And you talking about Foxo really wasn't doing shit for you, because for all that, you could have just stayed a fucking YouTuber. Where the gag is, once again, girl, you ain't been nothing but a YouTuber since. You ain't been in no Tyler Perry plays. Okay? You ain't being choked up in his damn trailer with your dangling hanging out of your damn zipper, and Medea, you know, squeezing on your ass, baby, putting you in a position to file a damn lawsuit against his ass. You ain't down there a part of a candy play. You ain't in no damn blockbuster movies. And somebody just said it on yesterday. What happened to the whole like basement renovations situation? Has that even happened yet? Does anybody know? Has he even made headway on him renovating his attic or whatever it is? Has there been any formation? Has there been any formality on that? Does anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody know? Can anybody confirm or deny that? Anybody in the chat know? Out of the 500 folk in the building? And he was supposed to be renovating his driveway and shit, and putting the damn camera out there, baby, and talking shit. What? Did he have, Has it manifested? Has it come through the veil? Has the Lord blessed it yet? Do we have an update? Or does the idea and the dream and the desire still suffering from diabetes, baby? Oh, okay. Under construction. Got it.
Point. So it no longer began to make sense. And then the $250 thing, for me, it was just a respect thing. It was like, you know, what job do you tell somebody, hey, Erica, you're part-time, and we're going to pay you $10 an hour?
It got flooded with them. So you telling me that the Lord done sent a damn Old Testament Noah's Ark globally extinctional event, like a flood? Was his basement caught up in that damn Texas flood? Where he at? It got flooded. You telling me that the Lord sent Noah's flood through there, girl, and tore all that shit up? Wow.
Part-time. Guess what, Erica? We made you full-time, but we're going to cut you from $10 an hour to $8 an hour. That's not the way it works. You know what I'm saying? So why is it when we were 2 days a week, I was worth $10, but when we go to 5 days a week, now I'm worth $8? And then you say, oh, Q, don't worry. We got you. We're just waiting for the new ratings to come in and the new advertising dollars. And just sign a 6-month. And at the end of the 6 month, we're going to make it all right. So cool. That was the pretext by which I signed the 6-month contract. I had even forgotten that my contract was up. We went on break and legal department hit me in a frenzy. And they're like, your contract is up. Are you going to re-sign? So my agent and I are like, well, send us over the contract. And when they sent it over, it was the same exact contract that was extended to us at the beginning of the program. And for me, that's disrespect. All right. Listen, I know what I contributed to TGIF. I know what I brought to Fox Soul. And after the $250, we said, fine, we get it. There's no money. Can you at least put them on the health insurance? And when that man said he wouldn't even put me on the health insurance, I'm a former accountant.
Hell no, because he said for an hour out of 4 days a week, bitch, your $250 is your damn health. It's your damn health insurance, girl. What the hell you need health insurance for sitting at home, bitch? You think I'm going to be responsible for you stubbing your damn toe and falling down the goddamn stairs and being hung over the damn balcony by trade and shit? Huh? You think that I'm going to be responsible, girl, from trade coming up off a grinder in the heat of the damn night, robbing you all your shit, and you going to run up the damn company's insurance and things, baby? What the hell you need insurance for? Your $250K is the damn Obamacare.
Company that large, it would have cost them $79 every pay period to put me on the damn health insurance. And the fact that you said no, for me, I felt very disrespected, and I felt like I wasn't valued. I said, fuck it, y'all can have it.
Can I just jump in really quickly? Because I can understand your position, especially because you're like a godfather of YouTube, like Black YouTube. So I get that, like, you're also in a position to be like, well, I'm already very successful on this platform. But I'm going to also kind of turn this question a little bit, because you seem like the beef was really with the network. And because Claudia was a part of the creative and production, were you conflating her with the network? Because we did hear you say that the problem was Claudia. I have to ask that.
Absolutely not. And in the moment, post the show, when I did my video and I said, I don't have a problem with so-and-so, my problem is with that damn Claudia Jordan, I meant it when I said it, because it was. Because of things that had transpired post me leaving, or things that had gotten back to me, and things that I had witnessed and been a part of.
Claudia should have clipped the damn live right there, baby. The audacity. The audacity, bitch. You just sat up in front of all them damn over 40 assholes over there at the Essence Festival, girl. Okay? Who's still trying to find a purpose and find space now that they done raise all their damn kids and all their damn grandkids, and love bomb that damn lady in front of all them over 40 ass men and women over there with them badass knees, and told that lady how you ain't never hate her, how you loved her down to the ground, baby. Even got out there and gave them an old nice, I love Claudia and Al. Y'all are the best. I'm looking forward to working with y'all after this. Baby.
While I was there. Again, and I'm sure Claudia can say the same about me, that, you know, she had issues or problems. Or the
thing about it is she never did, because that's how professional she kept it. She never did. That's the big difference between you and her, that she ain't like you and you. That's the big difference. Anything she could say was ultimately minute in the grand scheme of things. Because y'all had a good thing going. Y'all were friends. And to your point earlier in this conversation, it wasn't that deep, right? To your point on the microphone at the Essence Fest, right? It wasn't that deep. That's what you said. See, the problem is what Claudia could say, she didn't. Because in the ultimates of the ultimates of the ultimates, it wasn't professional, it wasn't kind, it wasn't cool, and it wasn't necessary. And then you still willing to make this blanketed statement, but you refuse to go into detail, even when Claudia was seeking the detail from you after y'all fall out. When she finally resurrected in the public and started advocating for herself, she was asking you, what did I do? 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 Tell me what I did. Tell me what I did. You still could not conjure up a what she did, because she didn't do shit. She didn't do nothing. Whatever little petty shit you've now conjured up in your brain in the aftermath, so that you can deflect to that, so that you don't have to be wrong as hell. You don't have to be the total bad guy. So you got to major in turning moles into mountains, so that is that we all get to be wrong. No. This is not a we wrong. This is a you wrong. And Claudia better than me, because I know Claudia is not trying to make a situation worse. I know the part of her that is a woman and that is professional and who has already experienced the dark side of funky is not going to go into this moment here and make a situation worse when she already knows what that look like when this nigga don't get his way. So I know she's not going to push the issue, but I wish she would have. Because once I would have clocked what type of time Funky was on, even in this conversation with bullshit me, I would have just been tying his ass up in a knot by asking him all the necessary questions and putting him in all the right positions to expose his damn self. I would have backed his ass up against the wall, not even really by putting his bullshit on Front Street. I just would have asked him all the right questions and put his ass in a position to where he could do my dirty work for me just by getting wrapped up and clogged up and tied up in all of my strategic questioning. Baby, she way more gracious than I ever could be, baby, because I would have tore Funky Dineva ass up on this live stream, girl. It's one thing, baby, that you already done played in my face. Girl, what we not going to do is sit on Reconciliation Day in the public square, girl, and you going to try to do this real soft shit you doing, this real pussy shit you doing. Ooh, baby, I would have been, baby, oh, baby, I would have been so gaslit so bad, baby. We would have had to either cut the stream or, bitch, it was about to be round 2, girl, and this time I'm going to get up with your ass, bitch. It ain't going to be no Beyonce to the shit like it was the first round, girl. Baby, it was going to be a me and you, girl. Okay, straight into the abyss.
Opinions, there's enough blame to go around. You know what I'm saying? And it was a cornucopia of things. It was not solely Claudia. It was not solely Al. And it was not solely the contract. If I'm being honest, it was the day-to-day bickering and crap that was going on in the background. That shit was getting on my nerve. Had they given me my $250, I would have sat through it. But it was like, to sit through that, I don't feel valued and I don't need this. I'm cool. I just read.
And this is another delusional talking point, right? I don't need this, but you begging Claudia for another $250,000 check. Been crying and whining all year long, girl. Y'all get Claudia on the line. Get Claudia on the line. Get Claudia, blow up. I love her. We got shit. Fuck. We got lightning in the bottle. But is Funky a damn vampire? Does he actually see himself, or does he just not see anything in the mirror? Does he have like a vampire's reflection, girl? Because I'm just confused on how he is able to say these things and they make actual sense to him. Now all of a sudden you the big dog who don't need none of this. And it was Fox that needed you and TeaGIF that needed you, and you could do better. But you've been the only one out of Al and Claudia begging and begging and begging all damn year long for another damn check and show. But you don't need it. Like, this is why I be thinking there's something cognitively wrong with a lot of these content creators. And girl, it's the hood psychologist and the hood Iyanla in me, girl, that just have to clock the T. Because I really be hoping that these people that I sometimes do these psychoanalyst breakdowns on will just put their ego aside, put my commentary on, get out a pen and paper, and just assess, okay, and take the meat and leave the bone. So they can really clean this up, okay? Like, use my commentary as a personal self-psych eval. And thank you, homebody, for the nasty piece of child support check. Thank you, baby mother. Damn. Baby mother putting in that coin, girl. Had to send my child support. You talking that talk. Thank you, baby mother. My God. Miss Linda. Is this homebody who sent me this or Whitney? I be confused at both my baby mamas. I think this homebody who sent this child support check. Homebody, is this you who sent this donation, baby? Or is it Whitney? Why? This chat moving so damn slow. I think it's homebody though. Where is Hold on, y'all. Let me heart this. My phone about to die too. My God. My God. Thank you, baby mother. So this is the type of delusional. Thank you, homeboy. Thank you, baby. God bless you, baby. God bless you, baby mother. Thank you. That just made my day. Y'all know all donation information is in the description box below, baby. All right. So this is the delusional shit that I'm talking about. Like, what are you talking about, girl? You needed them then, and you need them now. And the fact that you don't even see it that way, you don't even hear it that way, you don't even conceive it that way, is wildly, wildly disturbing. Because I'm only left to conclude, Funky, that you're missing one of your hemispheres. I don't know whether it was the left or the right, because they both do the same thing. But you're missing one of those hemispheres, darling.
Have my peace and be at home by myself. I don't need it. And that was the blessing of it all. I did not need the job.
Did not need it while actively begging for the job.
Take it back.
Oh, girl. Claudia should have went full on supernova. Like, Claudia must have been on airplane mode when fucking people was talking just to spare her own brain cells. Because, baby, shit would have had to get real, girl. He would not have known. While he thinking he putting up for a segment on Accidentally Informed, girl, your ass done pulled up on an episode of Judge Judy, bitch. We in litigation right now, baby. Because I would have had to ask that ninja, what in the are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Bitch, you needed the job so bad that you obsessed over it for several months, trying to actively destroy it. And then done spent the last 6 months of 2025 begging for it back. What are you talking about? And then got the nerve to try to vacuum me into being one of the many problems you had with Fox. But you don't want to go back to Fox, but you're willing to go back to me. I would have said, but remember, I'm the problem, right? Since I'm one of the problems, why don't you also put me in the same category of the network that you wouldn't work back with because it's full of shit? Girl, once again, I know Claudia was keeping the peace. I know she ain't wanna, because she know that the nigga weak. She know that the nigga is fragile. She know that the nigga is all ego, no testosterone, pure uncontrollable estrogen. So, I know she couldn't do her big one, girl, because she would have had to deal with the fallout, girl. But I probably would have. But see, this is why I can't work for nobody, girl. Because see, baby, I can't play. I can't play tic-tac-toe. I can't play. That's why y'all see me say to myself, I know I can't put up with other content creators. I know I can't put up with the fuck shit. I know I can't be a yes man. I know I can't do all the fake ass, two-faced, walking on eggshells, can't keep it real with you ass shit that people have to do when you're navigating this business. I can't do it. Maybe it's a deficit. Maybe it's a handicap. Maybe I'll think about whether it was best for me not to cultivate that ability, later on in my life. But right now, baby, I'm about to die on this hill. This is why I'm so solo dolo, girl, because I can't put up with people's shit. I can't put up with people's shit. And I don't be giving a damn what's on the line, baby. I don't give a damn, baby. You can hate me today, baby. I done, through my tenure as a content creator, girl, I have gotten up here throughout the years and had very much so unpopular opinions, girl, and was willing to get flamed up for it, and did, girl. Had several billion think pieces being done, girl. Don't give a damn, baby. Gonna die on that hill. Gonna die on it. Baby, I am not going to bow down and kiss the ring and participate in your foolishness. And we just gonna have this motherfucking fight, baby. And whatever it's gonna cost me to check, the house, the whatever, baby, clear it all, girl. In the words of Miss Palestine, girl, clear the way, girl. I'm gonna clear the way. I'm gonna clear the way. I'm gonna clear the way.
You said,
wow. And let me tell y'all something too. Claudia is a perfect example, in all honesty, you guys, of how you handle a narcissist. Claudia is doing everything that a trained psychologist tells and teaches a victim of narcissistic abuse how to do and how to be with the narcissist in their life. You can either go total gray rock, go total off the grid, totally disconnect, never see that motherfucker again, never let them in your motherfucking space. But if you're in a situation where you have to deal with the narc, maybe they're a coworker, maybe they're a child, maybe they are a family member, a neighbor, whatever the case may be, Claudia is navigating how you're supposed to navigate. You be stoic. Don't be emotionally invested so that none of the narcs gaslighting, deflecting, demonizing bullshit can be internalized by you. Hold your shit. Okay, be completely emotionally unavailable to the narc, even if you have to be available in body. Do not be available mentally nor emotionally, so that all of the shit that narcs do cannot land. So she's a perfect example, baby, of how you just work a narc out if you have to deal. What's going on, Storm? I'm finna call Claudia for a check, my baby. There's a Claudia on the line. Get her on the line, Storm. Do I need to get Claudia on the line, baby? You know I got her on the line. Okay? Clear the way, baby. Okay? Some of us know how to sustain $250,000 for an hour. Claudia Jordan, do you hear me? Do you hear me, granddaughter? Do you hear me, great-grandniece?
You're standing on saying it was me at that time, because when you left a really beautiful message for Al and myself. Mm-hmm. And I believed it, that I love y'all, we'll work together again. And we have some text messages where I said, we can even take this off of Foxhole and we can avoid a lot of the drama. I think a lot of that was that. So I thought you were just saying that in anger, and I actually thought you weren't going to stand on that. I feel like there was a lot of manipulation that was going on, and we don't got to get into that in front of everybody right now, that you weren't really getting the real exact story of everything.
Hold on. Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Because my screen just went completely flat. Can y'all see me? Are y'all still there, hell? I don't even know if y'all still in the comment section. Okay, because my screen is completely gone. What the? All right, I'm just going to let it. I don't know why it looks like this on my end, but I'm going to just let it play.
And I'll just leave it at that, because it went from love, I love you back, you know, we're going to do this again, we're going to spin the block, to me being the villain in the story, where it was that damn Claudia John. I'm like, wait, what? Because I was looking at my text thread with you where it was love outside of the cameras when it was just us. Mm-hmm. So that's when I said it's your thing. I was like, I was hurt, you know, by that, because I'm like, wait, there was enough drama for us. We all have had some drama there, and we've all had our crash outs. You know, we worked together for 3 years, 5 days a week. 3 years we did?
Yeah, that's about.
So, you know, there's been times where I had to bite my tongue when you were acting unprofessionally. There was times where you had to bite your tongue when I was going off on Joyce. There was times when we both bit our tongues when Al was crashing out and doing his thing. So, you know, it was a family, as Erica said, but it was a dysfunctional one.
It was a dysfunctional family. It was.
The highs were really high.
They were.
And the lows, to me, weren't worse than the highs. The highs were great because we had more good days than bad.
We did.
I heard from your mouth that you do not like to work, and you made that very clear. I need to be at the bar on Friday night. I don't want to work 5 days a week, and we made it to 4. And
wow. So not only did this nigga have the nerve to try to burn the house down, throw a grenade behind him, slander the fuck out of Claudia, was making $250,000 a year for 1 hour out of the day, but they also allowed them to double record on Thursdays so that Funky could have Friday to go down there and be a damn alcoholic to the bar. Wow. What, girl? Girl, I could throw Funky out of a window. The audacity and the privilege and the entitlement of it all. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Why, girl, my jaw is on the floor. Wow. Wait, I'm gonna let y'all listen to that again. Don't let that go over your head. Wow.
Those, to me, weren't worse than the highs. The highs were great because we had more good days than bad.
You did.
I heard from your mouth that you do not like to work, and you made that very clear. I need to be at the bar Friday night. I don't want to work 5 days a week, and we made it to 4. And I will say, with all that went down, not many people can say they had a show on linear television 5 days a week for 3 years, 4 seasons really. And what we did was a big deal. It was, and started during COVID when everybody else was losing their jobs. We created one, we have one, and it flourished and it multiplied. And like we said at your event, Africa people, European people,
everybody
to this day, and that means a lot, you know. But
and you know, we can't go without giving credit to Claudia, who was the brainchild behind bringing all of us together. You guys know how it started with us kicking it at Cynthia Bailey's wedding. The story's all over the internet. You guys can go back and rehash it. But you know, yeah, you felt something, you saw something, you brought us all together, and it was magic. And you know, it's the feeling that I miss. I miss the feel. Like I'm telling you, when I saw those,
this is crazy, girl. I feel so bad for Erica because she's also having to put on a professional smile, girl. But she knows what's happening here too. It's just literally how self-serving all of this is, girl. The fact that this nigga sitting up here talking about it's all about him, me, and more me. And more me, 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 and more me. See, I don't want to start no shit, but a part of me wants to get Claudia on the show to respond to this conversation, but it's probably going to lead to some issues. And Claudia probably already feel like it's enough to have even gotten this damn far and don't want to blow the little bit of progress. But girl.
And just me cracking the joke and like your natural expression when I be going and then Al over there laughing uncontrollable. It's like a drug. I miss that high. I do miss that high. And I just wonder if there is a world, a universe where
that's the problem, Funky. You treat in your professional workplace like you've done the crack pipe. The problem is your love for being high. And the issue with a love for being high is that being high is not sustainable. You need to be in treatment for your addictive personality type, because the issue with addictive personality types is that it makes you inconsistent, because from every high you have to also crash. And when you are living from an addictive personality type in the context of navigating corporate space in the professional world, you coming down off those highs is what's going to lead to the problems and to the domino effect that collapses the entire system. That's what's going to lead you to being inconsistent, not showing up, being easily irritable, irrational. It's going to make you difficult to work with, girl, and you're going to get that Monique narrative on you. That's the problem, is your addictive personality type. Yeah, you need to be in therapy for that, because that's costing you personally and professionally.
We get the high back without the bullshit.
That would be amazing.
And see, and that's the flaw and fallacy in his logic and thinking and understanding of an addictive personality type is that you can't ration it that way. You have to actually treat that and cure that, trying to live alongside it. Oh, I want the high without the side effects. I want crack without the side effects. I want the cocaine without the side effects. There is no collaboration between sobriety and functionality and then dysfunctionality. You have to actually heal the underbelly trauma and issues that are informing the addictive personality type that you're trying to accommodate, which is not working out for you. And the fact that Funky is still trying to apply this method of living to his life is crazy when it's continued to implode over and over and over and over and over again, just like the submersible Titan. It's been completely ineffective and left and reduced him to the YouTube space he thought Fox Soul was going to liberate him from, and is wondering why. And it's because you're still trying to accommodate addiction. You have an addictive component within your psychology and personality makeup that is creating this deficit in your social and in your professional. And you cannot reason or create enough of an ideal set of circumstances that's going to allow you to be able to be high without the cost and penalty and the crash out that comes from that. You need to be in treatment. And if you would have had $250,000 still in your pocket, bitch, you would have been able to get your ass to that treatment. How about that?
But I don't want you to leave this with feeling like it was some kind of, set up.
I don't feel that you need.
I'm in my head like, oh shit. No.
I don't feel that way at all. And if it would have been, I would have windmilled the hell out of both of y'all.
I know. Well, I was like, okay, but what I do want to say, as the voice of the audience and as an outsider, both of y'all sat down and did very extensive interviews with Carlos King. Mm-hmm. And I learned so much about both of you. Mm-hmm. And I thought that it was an amazing opportunity to get something that we wouldn't have necessarily have gotten. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell anybody who hasn't seen that there's an understanding there. It's not that I know people are accusing me of being the mess. And I'm like,
let it be you for one time.
I know, I'm kind of excited to be the mess. I never get to be the mess.
Erica, you better know how to fight because it's a hard position to be in.
But I really want people to understand.
Informed podcast, Erica Cobbs, Claudia Jordan, special guest, the funky Dineva child. I can't even see my screen, you guys. I don't even know what this. Let me see. I'm gonna try to drop the link and see if it even, because something, I don't know. My screen don't look right on my end. Something is not well, and that's the thing. Baby, I'm here to finish what Iyanla started. Let me tell you something. It's a moment coming. My moment is coming, baby. The universe is going. The universe is setting me up. Mm-hmm. I'm going to finish what Iyanla started in this world. Oh yes, God. Okay. See, I can't even see y'all. Are you there, homebody? And Rumors and Tea?
Yeah, I'm here.
See, but I can't even see y'all. I don't even know. It doesn't even. My screen is stuck. I don't know what's happening. Oh, okay. Wait. I think I'm there. Okay. I can see y'all now, I think. All right. Homebody, you sound like super low.
Oh, I got.
Hold on. Let me see if I can raise your volume on my end. Speak now. Can you hear me, homebody? No?
Yeah, I can hear you. That was my fault. I had my Bluetooth speaker on the house connected.
Okay. You're loud, live, and in color now. All right, a sound off, boo.
No, I just love this live that you're doing tonight, and I had to check to go ahead and send my child support to my baby daddy,
And I love
to my
you
baby
guys.
father.
Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. You
Okay,
did that,
like
honey.
this is just so great, and you're hitting all of the points. And I just left a comment in the chat a little while ago, and I feel like they're trying to make Claudia seem like she's Natalie on Baddies, like she's the villain or something. But Claudia's doing her thing, minding her business. Claudia has never talked about Funky or Armand in any type of way that was negative, I feel. But they stay talking about her.
Yeah.
They stay talking about her. So if you're talking about her so much, why do you want to work with her? I don't understand the assignment.
We don't understand the assignment. It would only make sense if it was bullshit. Okay, it's obviously self-serving, which is why it's so contradictory and out of touch.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying the content, and I'll stay on the live. I know Rumors and Tea is up here, and I can't wait for what she has to say, because I know she is about to sound the off. Okay.
Yes, Rumors and Tea, welcome to the platform, boo. I know you got thoughts, darling.
I'm gonna try to contain myself. Hey everybody. Shout out to the crew in the building. I want everybody to thumbs up. And also don't forget to share. And don't forget to drop them coins at the king's feet. I don't even know where to begin, because honestly, once he stopped Claudia in the beginning of the interview from even responding to the comments, that first, we wouldn't have went further. I would have, in a very professional manner, I would have said to Funky, if we're not going to, which I believe they already had a conversation behind the scenes. I don't know if her and Funky had a conversation, but I believe possibly her co-host. I believe there was a conversation taken before they decided to go live.
So according to everybody involved, there wasn't no premeditated. Like Claudia didn't know about any of the comments.
No, I'm talking about going live. No, listen. Do you know how before some content creators, like especially podcasts, they do have like a brief conversation to like just kind of let people know where they're gonna go. Maybe not a full length conversation, but I don't believe that he just went live. They just went live in no kind of conversation. Maybe Claudia wasn't involved in it to keep, you know what I'm saying, just to keep it kind of more organic. But I believe there was some type of dialogue. I do believe that. However, my whole point is he knew what time it was. He knew when he set this shit in motion. He knew everything he's done has been premeditated. So what you're not going to do is fuck me over when I did not do anything to warrant it. And it ain't going to be no, oh, you got hit with a straight bullet, because it wasn't even that type of thing. He literally came for her. And you did not want to have a transparent conversation, because they could have had a transparent conversation and still it bypass like any type of like anything that was going to cause them to go back down the wrong road. That was going to even, like, I believe that he would have been triggered either way. But as far as Claudia is concerned, in order for her to just maintain peace of mind or whatever the case may be, they could have had that conversation with him, at least addressing. He didn't have to speak to nothing about Al. He didn't even have to go into, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have to even go into major details with every little thing. But he could have addressed that, like, to full on go into conversations that makes him a victim. You want to be a victim, but you don't want to address how you made Claudia a victim. Right. How you victimized this woman.
Yep.
Because even if it was like, okay, he wanted to take the stance of we're gonna play the victim role. Allow her, because she, to me, is the only person that was involved in all of the bullshit. She was the only person that really was the victim in the whole scenario. Nobody in the chat, because there was people in the chat saying, oh, none of them were friends. They all had bad behavior. I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me what the fuck Claudia did. I said I was going to try not to. I'm still waiting for people to tell me what Claudia did to contribute to the mess, because nothing was said
And
on
that's
her
the
behalf.
issue. And that's Funky's responsibility to do, since he's the one who put that narrative out, and he refuses to detail it.
And so to allow him that space and opportunity as long as they did, I feel like Claudia did herself an injustice. The only way I can have a little grace for Claudia in this particular situation is like, okay, was it one of those situations where you just want to allow him to just keep running his mouth, and he, tied the noose around his own neck because of the things he said, he's exposing himself. But I still want to, me personally, I would not have been comfortable sharing any type of space, virtual, up close and personal. If Claudia talking about it was a healing moment, I don't see no healing. So now I'm tugging at her wig, because you're enabling him. The same thing I was discerning yesterday, it just like, it came into full fruition for me. It just really did. I don't see what was the purpose and the point of this, other than to platform him, give him your energy. You may not have argued back and forth with him. You may have allowed him to do most of the talking, and quote unquote, not add fuel to the fire. But she did not do herself any justice by entertaining and even platforming him. He said nothing different. He did nothing different than he's been doing, other than calling you out your name and literally just dogging you out. He has been indirectly in that whole life. He indirectly was straight playing in her face and still disrespecting her.
And let it have been Claudia out there after TGIF ended. Let it have been Claudia out there calling out Funky Dineva, calling him a crackhead, calling him all sorts of names, talking about how he's on the pipe. She would have been wrong. Like, the double standard of it all is crazy. So it's like, all I see is like a man attacking a woman for nothing, and it's not on some feminist. I'm trying not to swear. It's not on some feminist stuff, but Funky is doing everything to Claudia that he would have done to him.
That's a typical narc. The thing is that when he thought, it all backfired. He truly thought that the backlash, that even though she received hella backlash, he thought the backlash she was going to receive professionally, especially within his community, because I hate to bring this up, but it is a reality. She, even though not fully in her career, but right now in her career, she has aligned herself with a lot of people in the community, the LGBTQAI plus community. I think he was dog whistling and thought that because he had an issue with her, and then you have Al, couple that with Al, I really think he thought, okay, I burnt the bridge down and nobody is going to work with her. We know that most of entertainment industry is being ran right now by the LGBTQAI plus community, and every space, like everybody, what did you call it? Like attaches themselves to they want to use the same lingo, they get their hair done, makeup, everything, right? So that's like a fad. That's like, what's in, even though a lot of people complain about it, but that's what's in these spaces. She leveled the F up on them. And because she's been able to keep herself consistently working in the same spaces, for God's sake, even though they lost the Fox Soul deal and everything, she's on YouTube killing these YouTube streets. She ain't stopped working. Ain't nothing slowed down for her. And he saw that, and now he's desperate to get back into those spaces. That is the reality. But she's doing herself an injustice. She really is. And I'm getting so frustrated with her. And I love me some Claudia Jordan. But I'm getting so frustrated with her. She doesn't have to move exactly the way that I think she should move, but I think I would be more comfortable in having the confidence that she's protecting herself, her peace, and her professional stance by, even if, like I say, if this is something to do so that people can get a real idea of what she was dealing with and who this person is, letting him expose himself, I can understand that. But she didn't have to do that, because the reality is it's enough out here. There's been enough footage out here with him exposing himself. I would never ever deal with this man again professionally until he showed me that he got the treatment that he needed and I can trust him. He's a liability. I just couldn't believe she really sat there. I'm so disappointed in her. She really sat there on her platform and allowed this man to get up there and just victimize himself, take no type of accountability, and tell her blatantly to her face, he don't have no regrets. He wouldn't change anything. Ooh. He don't need her. I mean, was people really paying attention to what this man was saying?
While actively needing her. Like, that is the psychoticness of it all.
I would have ended that, because for me, see, people don't take stuff like this serious, and I'm not a person that like to take a mountain and make a mountain out of a molehill. But to me, he's dangerous. A person like that is dangerous.
I agree.
Go ahead, Trey. I'm gonna go on mute.
Thank you for that. Let's get Trey on the platform.
Yes, you spoke. You said a word. I will say that. Rumors and Tea. Hey, Conscious and Chad and everyone. Once again, thank you for letting me back up here. I really appreciate you for playing this, because I was not planning on watching it or listening to it. But thank you for letting us hear this. Now that I have, I want to say I really do agree for the most part with Rumors and Tea. The only thing that I would like to do with Claudia, because I do understand that she's a professional and she's not someone, I don't feel, that's going to bust somebody out like that. Especially in that particular space, I feel like she was maybe allowing Erica to kind of get the feel of who Funky really is, so that they could kind of go back and maybe discuss that. Because I feel like Erica maybe is a safe space for her to have that conversation and see, well, what do you really think now? Because if we're being honest with Funky, my thing is with him, he's just a piss poor individual. He really is. And it's really sad, because I used to watch Funky a lot when he was sitting on his floor of his apartment with them raggedy wigs and talking about this, then the third. It was funny. But as we've grown to get to know him as a person, I understand him better, and I'm not interested in what he's bringing, especially when it comes to his relationships with people professionally. The way that he just kind of gaslit and disrespected Claudia once again, I really hope, and I just want to believe that Claudia was giving him another rope for him to hang himself, because that's the only thing going forward. I know I don't know Claudia personally, but I do know that she's more than likely listening. So Claudia, I just want to let you know that I appreciate you, and I really, really, really hope that you took in the words that were coming out of Funky's mouth. It took y'all a long time, but as soon as he got to saying, y'all know I don't like to work, take that for what it is. Personally and professionally, this man does not like to work, nor is he going to do the work to mend anything that has to do with you, Al, or anybody else when it comes to a professional or a personal. He does not care about you, and he is not for you, and that's okay. And I just hope that you understand that you're okay with that.
Trey, can I add this super quick? Because not only is he not going to do the work, and he has not, and this is what I meant in my commentary this whole time about Funky hasn't demonstrated anything that provides insurance and assurance to Claudia. He's still, to Rumor's point, not taking no responsibility. He has no remorse over any motherfucking thing. He just want to bypass all the fucked up shit that he did Then on top of that, it's continuing to double down on the fact that, yeah, that same person that didn't want to work back then, that's still inconsistent back then, is still the motherfucker now today. I mean, this is completely not landing. I don't know how Funky doesn't think any of this is going to land, but to make matters even worse, the nigga literally don't want to do the work, to your point, Trey, but still wants the same pay wage as Claudia. In that footage, he literally said, we do a show, we get equal pay. No, ma'am.
Right.
No, babe, this is my shit.
The unmitigated gall for you to ask for equal pay when you was back there fighting for $250 while your other two co-hosts had already signed the deal and they were thinking everything was Gucci with that. But you over here fighting for $250. You threw away your friends, quote unquote. You threw away the people that you had so much good feelings with, quote unquote, for $250. Then ran both of them through the mud and tried to destroy what they had. For $250 and some quote unquote BS that you just couldn't take because you was going to work. Do you know how much BS that people take, a regular McDonald's worker take when they go to work, when they clock in, a Burger King worker, a post office worker, anybody, it's BS anywhere you clock in. But you chose to sign that contract, and now it's just like what are we even talking about?
And my thing is, Funky always talks, and he talks often about his degree from FAMU, how he graduated from FAMU. Was his degree in economics or business? Like, I think it was one or the other. I can't put my finger on it right now.
Economics, and then he had some type of accounting. He was an accountant for a while, so who knows?
Yeah, so it's like you don't have anything in the backseat. You don't have a job in the backseat. You don't have anything in case shit falls off or goes wrong. So it's like, why do you need Claudia so bad if you have a degree from FAMU and you can get
he doesn't want to work. What is y'all not comprehending? The man said he don't like to work. He does not want to work. And he feels, and unfortunately, they help contribute to his narcissism. They literally fed him. They made him feel bigger than he was, because who in their right mind will let someone? I mean, look at how long Claudia was in the entertainment business. And no shade, I know a lot of people be shading Al, but even to a large degree because of his connections, the spaces he's been in, right? How do y'all let Funky Dineva come inside and tell y'all, I don't want to work on Fridays because I want to go out and party, basically. So now y'all gonna double down, do 2 show tapings on a Thursday just to accommodate. They helped enable, and that goes back to what I said yesterday. Not sorry, Trey, for jumping in, but it just goes back to what I said. People only do what you allow them to do, and a lot of times we enable unintentionally. We enable people's bad habits and mistreatment to ourselves or whatever. This man hasn't learned anything. What the hell? I don't give a damn how many degrees he got. All the damn drugs he don't did. He probably can't even count the damn 10.
You're right, Rumors of Tea, and I'm glad that you brought that up. The one point that you made about him, about the whole Friday thing, I don't want to work, I don't want to go down to the bar. Mind you, if we go back in history, and that's the reason why I said yesterday that there is no reason that Claudia should ever think about going back to working with Funky again, because he is just going to repeat the same steps that he has already done to destroy his own career and his own self. Remember, it was him going down to the bar that got him fired from Sister Circle.
Yep. He like to get high. It's that high, baby.
You threw away a great opportunity with Sister Circle. You threw away a great opportunity with Fox Soul. You really, if we're being real, if we're being 100% real, he threw away his YouTube because he really wasn't doing YouTube like that before Fox Soul came around and brought him in. He had really dropped off of YouTube for a good while. And it was the momentum of Fox Soul that really propulsed his comeback when he decided to leave over that $250. So he's just going to. I really pray that this was just another opportunity for Claudia to listen to him and receive exactly what is coming out of his mouth.
Yes.
He does not want to work.
Yes.
And let me
Claudia,
speak about
please.
that for a moment. Because one of the things that Funky said was, of course, he talked about his wage, but he talked about his health insurance. I work in healthcare. I've been working in healthcare for over 20 years. I don't know why he didn't just go and get private insurance. If you're making $250,000 or whatever, if you don't go on the Obama.gov website, healthcare.gov website, and get yourself some insurance, what you want us to do? Like, he had every opportunity and every little bit of means, every little bit of finance to go get private insurance. But he was up there making his speech, talking to Claudia, saying, I was wanting just a pay raise and wanting health insurance. My guy, you can go online and get yourself some private insurance. So obviously he's not managing his finances correctly. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's expensive to drink Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying? But he had all of the means, more than other people do, to go and get some health insurance, some dental insurance, some this and that. And he's complaining about it as if it's Claudia's and Fox Soul's fault. And that just got on my nerves.
I do have to push back on that just a little bit. I know we got someone else here, but I just want to say really quickly, I do have to say that I agree with Funky, and any worker that is not receiving any type of health benefits at their job, I believe there should be some type of conversation to where they should be able to receive them. I just don't like the way that Funky went about it. He should have went to them and said, hey, y'all, we all need to get together and fight for this. It should have been something. The way that he was negotiating was just not in a group friendly mode. It was just me, as CTV was saying.
Well, I feel like it could have been also like the job that they were working was like a contractor type of job. So, for example, if you are a contractor, you're not going to get health insurance. You know what I mean?
But
I understand that, but I'm just saying that I don't disagree with him wanting to fight for it. It's just the way that he went about it.
God, ladies and gent, listen. They're actors in Hollywood, whether they're contracted, whatever. They have what is it? That it's not the Guild Actors. It's something. So I know they have like this organization or something where they provide like a union or something where they provide insurance. And as you stated, he made enough money to purchase his own insurance. Now let's be for real. I don't think it had a damn thing to do with no damn insurance.
Correct.
I think that was just I really think that was just a ploy to get people to feel like, okay, he's justified in his anger, et cetera, et cetera. It had nothing to do with that. This man allegedly has this on and off again, if it was ever off, addiction. And yes, 250 grand. That's a good piece of money to just sit for 1 hour and do a live, right? However, when you have a habit, that ain't ish. When you're in these entertainment spaces, that ain't ish. And he wants to keep up with the Joneses. He wants to keep up with the Joneses. And he cannot afford it.
But I don't think.
Now I'm going back on you.
But I don't think that the Joneses are on the pipe, or are they?
My God, today.
Oh yeah, well we know that there's quite a few. There's quite a few. We gotta just keep it real. There's quite a few that are on it, you know. And unfortunately for him and others like him, it's like an unfortunate thing for people like himself or whatever the case may be, that more than likely he probably already had these addiction issues and then, you know, came into the space once he discovered, you know, some celebrities for himself. He got into them spaces and he just thought more of himself and still thinks too much of himself. That's the unfortunate part. He doesn't think highly of anybody else. He feels like he's the it. Like everybody else is disposable. He's the star. He's the collateral. Like none of them are on his level. The audacity.
Well, no shade, but health insurance also covers addiction treatment. I'm just going to put that out there. Health insurance, when you have health insurance, they do cover addiction and recovery. I'm just going to say that.
Somebody made a good question. Why was he asking that on the last leg when they had already been doing this for 3 years? So it took you 3 years to inquire and to seek medical. Y'all were 3 years in. Why did you? So that's what also.
I think Fox Soul was treating them as contractors. I feel like in my mind, and I don't know their business contracts. I haven't seen it, obviously. So I don't know what the business contract was, but I feel like they were treating them as contractors. Like, so for example, like if you have someone who mows your lawn, you're not going to give them health insurance. If you're a company for lawnmowers, you're not going to give them health insurance. But since Fox Soul is a derivative of Fox, then there should have been something, but that should have been notated. I'm sure they got an entire contract and an entire agreement off rip. And so at that time and each year, periodically, I'm sure Funky was given the opportunity to renegotiate his contract, and he didn't. And so since he maybe signed his contract and worked again and felt a certain way, like as the TV show or the online show was getting popular, he took it out on Claudia. Like, as opposed to going to the network and saying, or going to HR or whoever was working their contracts. I'm sure that the door was open for him to talk to them. The door was open for him to have a conversation and maybe not renegotiate after he signed his contract, but I'm sure that they would have listened to him. But I think that what happened is he went too late. I don't believe Funky's narrative that he wasn't ever able to get health insurance from the network. I don't believe it.
Oh no, he
think
explained
that
it in his I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say he explained. I remember him explaining it in that initial video when he was kind of going through the things about the contract and what have you and why he left. He did state that I want to say that the insurance thing was maybe possibly something that came after when they said no to his initial offer or request for his upgrade in pay. But it was also, I think he was kind of detailing all of the money that he was spending for his selective surgeries, like the teeth, the feet, and all of that stuff was probably adding up. And when you add up all of those elective surgeries with your regular health care, plus all of the stuff that you want to do and spend your money on frivolously, I mean, like Rumors and T was saying, he just it's one of those things where he just didn't have enough money because he was wanting to spend it here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, he did detail as far as the because I want to say that they told him, well, hey, you're not an actual employee of Fox, so that's why you're not getting the health insurance. So I remember him saying something to that nature.
Well, I know we got other people up here, so I'm gonna say the rest of my talks until after they talk.
Okay, I want to get Whitney and talk with William in here. Hey, Whitney.
Hey everybody.
Whitney.
Hey everybody. Hey y'all. Just real quick, thank you for giving us the back-to-back content. The judge did approve me to send my child support check at another time. Okay. So I will be getting that to you soon. Okay, so and sorry if I missed this, but did Claudia confirm that she's gonna be working with Funky again?
No.
Okay, cool.
This is just the social, they're socially going to be okay, but professionally, no. There's been no clarity on that.
Claudia's giving Funky that side eye, as she should be. She's sort of looking at him like, nigga.
You look closely at Claudia throughout the interview. You can even see it in this picture here. She looked like she wanted to cry. Like, her eyes were very glossy. I think Claudia was disappointed. I think she was shocked. I don't think she expected Dineva to avoid being transparent and really clearing her name. I think she was shocked that he still was willing to double down on this. Well, you were the problem too, but I'm also not going to go into that.
And see, and that's exactly why she shouldn't go back. She should use that as confirmation. And
Right.
he also kind of did something like that during the actual apology when he said something like, "Oh, I was wrong, but I left because of the health insurance." It's like you can't give a straight apology without tacking something on, and that isn't an apology.
And his story constantly changes. It went from, in that same footage, I ain't got no problem with this woman. I ain't got no issues. I love her down. She the baddest, blah, 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 blah. To now, you're back on another narrative. Like, it done went from Claudia ain't the problem to, well, Claudia was the problem, but also the medical and it's like, which one is it, bitch? What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? The pendulum and the goalposts change every time you open your mouth about this. Every time.
And where's the lawsuit for Fox Soul?
I think he does because
Fox Soul.
his.
I'm sorry, Whitney.
That's okay. I think he does that, y'all, because you know how we're dissecting the reasons and we're going through the apology line by line. His followers aren't going to do that. And he doesn't want it to seem like anything is all his fault. So I feel like he wants to keep reminding people that other people had a hand in it too. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know.
Claudia held her shit together, baby. I felt like she was sitting over there like fucking a WandaVision.
She's better than
ready
me
to just dissipate the entire shit. But she done. Claudia been working so long for see, when you consistently work, you just become adapted to code switching, being able to push through, compartmentalize, etc. So this is just all a part. This is all the beautiful results of her professionalism, which has just really evolved to this point because she's consistently been working in this industry since she's been a teenager. So I have to really shout her out. But let me ask y'all this. I mean, do y'all, well, let me get William in here and then I'll ask y'all a question. Hey, William.
Hey, can y'all hear me? I got a new microphone, so I want to make sure that I'm not too loud and I'm not too soft.
Yes, you're just right.
Perfect. Okay.
It's giving versatile top energy.
Oh my God. Okay. So here's my whole thing with this whole funky Dineva shit, because I've been following this shit in the background, and I literally like 3 hours ago just got off this here job, and I work in a professional environment. So funky can go to hell. It's what he can do. He can go straight to the bottomless black pit of hell, because that's all we do as professional people. We actually have to keep our mouths closed so we don't lose our good job too. So while you jumping off the deep end, talking all that shit about how, oh, I love Claudia Towns and all of this, but meanwhile, all you've been doing in the background is yabba dabba, doing the yabba dabba this and yabba dabba that. And for me, I cannot, in the professional workforce, deal with a funky Dineva archetype. Somebody who is constantly obsessed with himself, thinking he's the star. When you are in a department, it's more than just you in that department. You're not the director. You're not the vice president. You are not anything but an employee. You are contributing to the whole of said department. If it's 3 of y'all, then damn it, it's 3 of y'all. If it's 5 of y'all, damn it, it's 5 of y'all. It ain't just you. So, and if you want to climb up the ladder, you need to hoover yourself. Funky, he gets on my fucking nerves. Sorry if I'm cussing, but he gets on my nerves.
And I 100% agree with rumors that the health insurance although that may have been an issue, I don't feel like that was the actual reason that he left. Because, like Homebody said, you can get health insurance if it was that serious. So
Exactly.
I understand wanting it through the company, but if you can't get it through the company, okay, well, let me go this route and keep my job. But yeah, I feel like people won't really picking up on the health insurance not being the real reason. So,
And I
No, I
wonder
don't think
too
I don't
if
think he was there for the health insurance. I think he thought he was bigger than he actually was, and he thought he could just go in and negotiate a contract that was equal, that would allow him to have $50,000 more than what his coworkers were making.
well, I
That ain't
wonder
how that
too if
works.
what was going on with Funky had to do with envy. Because you don't hear a lot about how men can be jealous of women. And I think and I wonder in this situation if Funky was jealous of Claudia. You know what
Of
I'm saying?
course.
He
Because
was.
Of course.
Funky acts
Yes.
so like cool, collected, like among the boys. I'm sure that he is like top dog. But men can be jealous of women, and there's not enough conversation
absolutely.
about that.
Yeah, he absolutely can be jealous. And I think that was the problem too, is as the show went on, and as he said, Claudia was the one that created the show, even though she didn't have creative control of the show was her brainchild. So the fact it was a woman that brought them two together, and it was a woman that helped sign Funky to his shit. I think there was a little bit of jealousy there because of the fact. Let's be real. YouTube don't pay you but $1 and a damn dime. Let's be real. So when you have to make outside, when you have good bills, you got to pay. YouTube
But
is not gonna help you. So yeah, I
but
do think he was jealous.
so somewhat to William's point, and to also touch on what you're saying, or asking Homebody. I think what I discerning is that because they allowed his diva complex to hold relevancy, i.e., making demands. He had you like we know had them change the schedule basically, or adjust the schedule for him. um Him openly telling them he, what he doesn't want to do, how he's going to do what this and that. They literally cater to his demands, and because of that, he felt that was the first that we know since they brought it up. That's one of the first mistakes that was made professionally, that was accommodating him for things that really did not deserve any accommodation. Because
Talk
they
about it.
did that, because they did those things, he felt like, I am the star. They need me. He didn't feel at all any need to be professional. Um, and they catered to that. They allowed those things, not just Claudia, but the powers that be. I remember when Conscious played the video footage of them having the meeting, and I think it was one of the head executive producer, how like they were going back and forth and everything. And I'm like, even the way that they talk to her, I understand. Just because a person has authority over you does not mean that you cannot be assertive in meetings and things of that nature. But there still should be a level of professionalism. And the footage that we saw from their Zoom meeting, they didn't have no respect for authority whatsoever. None of them. And I mean, of course, you can get into heated discussions with your management, producers, whoever, you have those moments. However, there still should be some type of professional etiquette. And we didn't see that. We did not see that. So that let me know right then and there what type of environment that these people all were partakers in. And under no circumstances, truthfully speaking, he wasn't doing that great. And I didn't follow the show like that. I only saw clips here and there. And I can tell y'all, some of the clips that I saw, Funky couldn't really, when they were dealing with like political stuff or whatever, he couldn't. He was lost. He was not well versed in a lot of their shows. He was not well versed in or whatever. And then to turn around and disrespect, Chloe or whatever, they get them suspended. All that. To me, he was not worth the headache. But they were disillusioned based upon the numbers of his subscribers, and because I know that they were like, I feel like they felt like they needed him because of the social media spaces and the numbers that he had. And I don't think that they really did their due diligence on a professional level. I keep using the word professional for a reason. I don't think they did their due diligence professionally and really looked and did like, what they call it when you,
Talent
what is
search?
it? Vet. They didn't vet him. They didn't vet. Like, I don't think vetting was done properly because had they done it, even though I
Yes.
still would have taken a chance on him, had they done that, they would have seen and learned and discovered his pathology for being a self-sabotager, and not only self-sabotaging himself, but sabotaging others.
Honestly,
Yes, I agree with
honestly,
you, Rumors. I agree with you, Rumors, when you talk about how he did that.
there's also another word
Can
there
we
that
all talk
says,
one at a time?
yeah, I'm sorry, I wanted to go first. I believe that they should have put Funky on a probational period to see how he goes, at least for 3 months. And then give him that $250,000 contract, or give him whatever the agreement was on that contract to see how that goes. But because Funky had the social equity to back it up, they thought, well, we can just nibble, dibble, and do what we do. Never minding the fact that they don't know this guy. They only see him off of what they see on screen. They don't know him personally. They don't know what he can be like professionally. So a good rule of thumb, if you're dealing with any employee, you need a 3-month probational period. And that 3-month probational period would allow the network to then assess whether you are a good fit for their company. And if you're not, sorry, you're not getting the 3 months, you're not getting the contract. And that should have been the conversation that should have already been had. That to me tells me that there was mismanagement on the part of the company as well as the 3 hosts that was on the damn show.
Well, technically speaking, I believe that there was already a wait. That's why he was the last person to sign. I'm not 100% or even 50% sure that it was a probationary period that they were putting him on. But I do know that he was the last person to sign his contract for a reason. And I believe it was because of the delegations that were going on. But I honestly want to say that I fully agree with what Rumors and T was saying. And to your point, Rumors and T, I know you said that you didn't watch the show that much. From someone who watched the show almost every day and who was in on all of the tea after the show had broke out. When Funky was on the show, he was very, I won't say 100% unprofessional, but he was definitely one of those people that just came in to clock in and stand there and look around. Like he was not, even him himself said that he was not privy to the information for, I want to say even like the first season or two. Like the stories that they would go over, neither him nor Al were really just like understanding of them, especially when it came to like the political stuff. It was just it was weird. Like you could literally tell that he was just clocking in to say some stuff and then clock out. Like you can tell the difference between the professionalism between him and Claudia. But
And
if
I
I could
wonder,
really quickly just put my tinfoil hat on, I really want to say that I can understand that Funky was annoyed or tired of the bickering that was going on. But if we just add in the elephant in the room, which was Al Reynolds, I feel like Al was the real problem. And the fact that Funky was slightly jealous of Claudia's status at Fox Soul, but like Rumors and T said, he was gaining his own status because they were giving him so many leeways and affording him all of this different stuff. I really feel like he was just tired. Him and Claudia, I think that they both knew that Al was the weakest link, and Al was doing everything that he could to destroy and self-sabotage it himself, and that's why he left.
Here's my issue.
Well,
Hold on, y'all. I just want to chime in on this point super quick. That's an interesting point about Al. I think what my issue is, though, is the term I forgot how you worded it, but it was like a word in there that stuck out to me, and it created the thought that, you know, like, people can only be a problem if you like really let them, which is where you would have thought Funky's adulthood, his maturity could have stepped in, right? Because like I was saying earlier in my commentary, that the real true gag of it all, right, is that if you really want to stay out of some shit, you really can by doing the mannequin challenge. Like, if you really want to, because you're like nobody can really make you do anything. Like, you can literally, you know, not participate in a certain type of conversation, a certain type of rhetoric, a certain type of engagement. You can literally, like, you have full body autonomy in order to control yourself entirely into that degree. And so even, you know, Mr. Reynolds definitely played his part. He was messy boots. He was uncontrollable. He was disrespectful. He was disrespectful to Joyce and to the producers. And there was a lot going on. But I feel like I can't help but think, remember in Funky Dineva's Carlos King interview when he said, I've sexed all of my friends. All of them. I sexed all my friends. I wonder if it was also Funky's attraction to Al, possibly even a possible sexual relationship.
Oh yeah, he definitely had an attraction to Al.
Yeah, a develop that may have also kind of revved up Dineva's willingness to kind of like play into Al Reynolds' bull crap, because him and Al were conspiring behind Claudia's back. They were, you know, hating on her about her house and her car. She saw all of those text messages. All of that came up and out because Al was also playing both sides.
Mind you, CTV, this is the same Funky Dineva, the one that's over here, doing all of this talking about Claudia behind her back, that sat on this show with her and Erica talking about he was over and he doesn't really be about the small petty BS. This is the same one.
Right.
So didn't we also look at those text messages too when they came out, Conscious? Because I remember, if I recall correctly,
I'm trying to recall too.
We did see those text messages back and forth between her, Al Reynolds, and
Funky.
Yeah.
Of them hating.
Yeah. So both of them jokers was playing double agent behind each other's back, which was wild.
It really wasn't wild for me. I put nothing past neither one of them. For me, though, it does not, even though Al definitely was like the mastermind behind everything, he manipulated the F out of Funky. However, Funky was a willing participant. He wasn't manipulated to the point that he was not aware. I believe he was very much aware of what Al was doing, but because he messy as hell, because he does not have any real professionalism to himself or whatever, and he definitely had an issue with Claudia, and I believe that it had everything to do with I think they discovered behind the scenes that that Claudia had lost. She didn't have the right. She didn't own the rights to the show, and I think once that was established, he did not feel as though Claudia was deserving of equal pay. that even though he did not, and I feel like he felt the same thing for Al. I think Al is the one that brought all the information to Funky, to be honest. I don't think Funky was aware of a lot of things. And once all of that shit was brought to his awareness, he knew, even though knowing that Claudia was the one that did create it, knowing that Claudia is the one that did put people together, knowing that Claudia was the one that was actually working with production behind the scenes to get the information about whatever the topics is going to be, and did her due diligence. They knew all of this. They knew this. But his ego, he's so ghetto and ratchet that he couldn't even see the bigger picture, that Al was not, regardless of what went on, like what was going on between him and Claudia, Al himself was never going to stand on business. He was going to keep playing, being immature and being disrespectful, playing in Claudia's face. But I was never going to stand on business and ever call Fox Soul out publicly. He was never going to do that. He was never going to call Claudia out publicly. He knew exactly how to play it, where as though, even though he got exposed majorly, he still knew, like, there's a certain level of, when it comes to tactfulness in business, you are looked at based upon how you handle disagreements, and even being a disgruntled employee. You're looked
But
at,
the thing
if you
about
go out here
Al,
and spill, hold on, homebody, when you go out here and you spill back behind the scene tea, people don't trust you anymore. You are a liability. Al knew that. So although he manipulated, I'm pretty sure there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know, the public. Trust and believe. There's some blackball. I believe that Funky got blackball, low key, and I believe Al is blackball. I believe that. And
Well,
I
the
believe
thing with
that's the
Al
reason
is, I don't think that Al ever even had it to make it with, because honestly, if it wasn't even for what Claudia did, he wouldn't have been relevant even for the 3 years that he like that he was relevant. We did not see Al prior to TGIF. After his Star Jones run, he went into the obscurities ultimately. He never trended. He never popped. He never locked. He never dropped until Claudia, had resurrected him from the bowels of Jerusalem.
But check this out, Conscious.
But the thing about Al,
he didn't. Hold on. He did
Wall
not.
Street.
No, listen. The thing about it is, though, Al was like friends of a show. You would see him pop up, and like on Basketball Wives and stuff like that. He ain't popping up no damn way.
It wasn't
he ain't
like
popping up no way.
meaningful way.
No, I understand. I'm saying, but he ain't even popping up as a friend of nothing. He ain't popping up at all.
Know why, right?
And that's
why, right? It's because after all of the Basketball Wives, and then after all of the Claudia stuff, Al, like, people started exposing Al for being fake, saying that what he did to Claudia, he did to Jennifer Williams, he did to all the other women that he was latching on to and using as a way to leverage himself. And then when all the Joyce behind the scenes footage, had got exposed and dropped, I think that was kind of the end of somebody who was always mediocre anyway. Like, Al don't even have a talent to really be able to survive that type of negative publicity to start. So he really played his cards terribly as a mediocre castmate, as a tag-along, as like a gag personality, because they always put like those type of like weirdos a part of these ensemble casts. It happens all the time on the Bad Girls Club, where they would have all of these like strong personalities and then put this weasel female amongst this alpha female clan. And so Al is kind of like the weasel token, archetype when it comes to these group situations. But he played his cards wrong, unfortunately. Too much came out at the height of all of this. And so, yeah, I'm not shocked that he's not around. But I don't think he's blackballed. I think it's just like people just gonna believe the information because it's so polarizing about Al. Like, we got to see you act a fool. We got to see you turn on Claudia. Not only did you also try to weaponize Funk, even though Funky is not a victim, he's a willing participant, but you and him aligned together, but you tried to do it to the newbie. You tried to do it to the DEI hire Wiggins when he came up, because for a while, Al and like for a while, Wiggins was the new Funky to Al Reynolds. So Claudia was sandwiched again, you know, in the second interim of Fox Soul until everything blew up and then everything was coming to a head. And then her and Wiggins was able to have a conversation in the back door because Claudia has spoken out about that even, you know, she could feel the energy and then the viewers could also feel it too. Like, why does it seem like Al and Wiggins are stumping Claudia out? Like, why does it seem like it's always like a 2-for-1 special when it comes to Claudia? And then when shit kind of broke up and broke out, and then him and her had their public conversation, Wiggins and Claudia, that is, you know, she had let it be known that she even, when she started to feel the heat, and she was wondering, what the fuck going on? Like, what's the problem? She actually tried to make things better with Wiggins. She was trying to call him, just trying to like straighten things out. Like, I don't know what the smoke is. I'm not sure what the issue is. I just want to make sure that we on the same page because I don't have no issue. She was like, Wiggins was avoiding Claudia. He wasn't even positioning himself to even hear her, to work things out. He came into that situation because he had already been gassed up by Funky on the way in.
That's what I was just about to say. Didn't Funky have a hand in it?
Funky, privately on the way in. And then Al carried the rest of the work that Funky did on Wiggins. So Wiggins came in super biased, super a prejudice toward Claudia, which was really audacious because how you gonna come in biased and audacious and an enemy on a show this woman fucking created?
Like, that's what I really don't understand.
And I really feel like between Al, Funky, and Wiggins, it really did set Black gay men back. And that's why I had to be on everybody's neck in that fucking situation, because that was some bullshit from all of them. That was some bull fucking shit.
I really don't understand how anybody of all three of them, like, if you really think back to Fox Soul, I didn't watch Fox Soul before TGIF. I may have watched Cocktails with Queens, you know, here and there, but even before Cocktails with Queens, from my understanding, when I would go past or when I would click on Fox Soul, all I would see was Claudia. That channel was Claudia. She opened so many, or attempted to open so many doors for so many people. And for them to just treat her like she was a bitch on the street is just wild to me. And for Al Reynolds, I know he's not in this conversation, but for him to think that he was somebody special, sir, you were the beard for what's her name? Star Jones. Like, what are we talking about? He was always number 3, and he would have been number 4 if Gary with the T had actually was able to get on the show. And I think that was his main problem. He always knew that he was the underling.
He did.
And he was fighting so hard to get to the pop.
Because it also came out from Claudia, because she was in Spill It Boy TV's comments. It also came out that not only did he end up having an issue, to your point, Trey, he always knew he was incompetent. He always knew he was not good enough. He always struggled with his self-esteem, his ability to articulate and be as witty. I told y'all, and this is not an insult, this is just an observation. I told y'all that I actually believe that Al is a high-functioning autistic individual. Like, I think he's on the autistic spectrum, but he's high-functioning in the autism. And I kind of felt like I was seeing that because he wouldn't really notice a lot of the social cues. He wouldn't get a lot of like the inside jokes. He kind of be scratching his head like, and then he would like have these hard blinks. Like, he would blink real hard. And I have autistic people in my family, and they kind of have some of the same characteristics. So I was like, I wonder if Al is on the spectrum of some kind. This might also kind of explain why he's so socially messy, why he also kind of struggles in his temperament, because sometimes autistic people do have an issue with their temperament. Like, it's a lot of telltale signs there around Al and that narrative. But
so, can I ask y'all a question? So, what do y'all think? What was the purpose of Al? Do y'all think Al's presence on the show was for his aesthetic looks to offset the, funkies? For those of us that, So, what was the purpose of him being a part? Like, because he didn't do well. He didn't fit. He did.
Well, you gotta think. Well,
can I be honest with you?
But you gotta take it back to Claudia. She saw her, Al, and Funky in natural settings, and they had this chemistry. I think there was something about Funky Dineva's loudness and wittiness coupled with Claudia's flirtiness and playfulness, and then Al's like kind of off-brandness that kind of all made it like, oh, this is a key girl. We got Al with his off-brand ass. He can never quite read the room. He always talking shit, and he's just funny and being weird and being his natural weird self. Then we got, you know, Dineva, who, you know, knows how to be the comedic flare up. And then you got, you know, Claudia, who's kind of like a perfect mixture of all of this stuff that brings it all home. So from her, she felt like, oh, you know, this is really, you know, this is really dope, child. This is a key in the cackle. The people will probably enjoy all three of us, you know, just being ourselves, having kitchen talk conversation, etc. So, you know,
well, Al
Can I be honest?
Al
Rumor,
doesn't translate well. He does not translate well. In as far as TV live streaming away, he does not translate. That doesn't translate. Yes,
can I
Trey.
answer that question as well? Okay, I'm sorry. And CTV, I really appreciate you for giving him so much. I really believe that Al, if I'm being completely honest, if we go back to the story that they told, they was all over there at Cynthia's wedding. I believe that Al was one of those people that was just there at the right time in the right place. He looks good. I believe it was his looks that kind of
That's
got
what I
him
was saying.
actually,
It was
that they
aesthetically.
moved him on to the show. But the show was originally him, Claudia, Gary with the T, and Funky. Funky and Gary with the T. Claudia already knew these people have some type of, you know, fan base. We already know who they are. Al, I guess he's here, and he probably heard me say, "Hey, let's make a show together." So I guess I got to bring him on too, because, you know, technically he is my friend, and I don't want him
I could go with that.
feeling some type of way. That's how I feel. It was one of them type of
Because
situations.
I mean, I think he was eye candy. I really do. Aesthetically, he's a nice looking man. And I think, you know, nothing Gary with the T to me, you know, for older person, he's not, you know, bad looking, but neither one, sorry, my opinion, him nor Funky are attractive that way. They're not necessarily pleasing to the eyes, because I mean, look at, for God's sakes, he looked like he been rolling over that flour and baby powder, well, no baby powder, but flour and that other chalk stuff, you know, ashy as hell. I just don't see it for them aesthetically. I can see Al being the eye candy. You know, Claudia is a beautiful woman, you know, and then having him as well, but he really didn't bring anything um other than his looks, in my opinion. But y'all know what I struggle with in a major way is sometimes attaching yourself to a person like a Funky Dineva. Now there's spaces like I'm not going to discredit him, to, you know, I'm definitely going to give him his flowers, you know, for his earlier days. He definitely was polarizing, definitely entertaining, you know, but he could not go beyond reality shows. Like, you know, that's his niche, in my opinion. To want to be in a space with a person like a Funky that doesn't offer anything other than comedian, like comical commentating when it comes to reality shows. I'm like, why would you want to attach yourself to that person? I don't know. It's just like it was just kind of weird to me. I know most of their lives. Again, what I saw, the clips, was like entertainment and things of that nature, but they got into some heavy stuff. Like, I remember the whole, you know, converse. Anytime they would talk about same gender loving topics and things of that nature, like I would just have, like, I would be surprised by some of Funky's talking points, and even at times some of Al's talking points, and I'm like, it just never made sense to me. You know, so I could kind of go with what Conscious is saying too, is in regards to like what they were like outside of cameras and being live. That dynamics, and you know, people are usually more of themselves that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that does not always translate. Going back to what I was trying to say earlier, and I'm gonna let somebody else talk. Doesn't always translate when it comes to exposing that to the public. And so I don't know. I just want her to learn the lesson. Like, Funky ain't it? I want everybody to actually, like, from moving forward from this point on, at the list, anybody that has seen it, y'all please make sure y'all find that video and y'all share that live video out, because I think people need to see and hear what this man has said. He's basically letting y'all know this is what he, and that's okay for him. This is who he is. This is what he's willing to do and not willing to do. He's not going to change it because he's not comfortable doing any more than what he has to do, what he feels is necessary for his life. So if y'all gonna work with Funky, y'all need to know this is what y'all gonna get moving forward.
Girl, I am gagging at Jackie, honey. This is one hell of a way to word it, honey. Jackie says, Funky will talk behind your back in your face. Yes, God.
Let me get on.
He summarized that perfectly. That's what he did. Ain't that what he did in that live just now?
He most definitely did that.
Yeah. Let me get on in here because I want to talk about Reynolds for a second because to me, honestly, going back to the aesthetic look, yes, he is a good-looking man, but honestly, if we're being really, really real here, Claudia could have done that all by herself without Al or Funky being there if she wanted a one-woman show. But I understand she needed a combination of the comedic relief and of something of the academic relief, but Al did not give me the academic, I'm a professional, I know this stuff type of person. He gave me, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't know none of these topics y'all are talking. It's like he just checked in.
Nobody had knew that though, William, until smarter people were on the panel. Like his guests, his guests were clocking because initially they also were trying to kind of market him to that niche, which is why he felt like he should have also had his own segment like Funky did. Because I remember Funky saying in one of the episodes, he was like, Al, he's our person who do like the deep dives, and he gives us the rundown on the story and the deets and all of that, But then when Dustin came on, and when other people who were more informed and actually informed about the topic came on, that's when we really got to see that way. Al didn't know what the hell he was ever talking about, girl. Like what type of damn back page news is he reading from to get his talking point from?
The girls
I remember that because wasn't there? Wasn't there a wasn't when Dustin came on? Wasn't there like a bit of a tic-tac of a fight between both him and Dustin because Dustin was actually informing people, and he was just out there just trying to read Dustin for filth. And that, to me, that really showed me you don't really know as much as you're marketing yourself to be, bro. Like that. That's what told me right then and there. Why would you attack another man for being more informed than you are? But then again,
but he did that to everybody. He did it. He did it to everybody. He did it to Wiggins. He would reduce a Wiggins to the boy that Wiggins actually is. More oil, more baby oil. He also got into it with Dr. Heavenly. I remember even Fame had to give him that work on the political topic. So he was always getting ate up and kind of, had this weird tension with a lot of co-hosts. Him and also what's a comedian? Lumel, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Her and him got into it. So Al is very confrontational. So all that shit that we saw behind the scenes of him going at Joyce, the producer, a lot of that was playing out in a microwave, in front of the cameras when it came to other guests on the show.
True. Well, let me go ahead on and get off. I got to go to work. But
all right,
I'll see y'all.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Thank ya.
Thank you,
I was just gonna say.
Go ahead,
I'm sorry. Oh, I was just gonna say. It's just crazy when some people will go to college for 4 years and grab a few Greek letters, and they come out thinking that they are just these Mensa level intelligent people, and you're really just an educated fool. And that's really kind of what Al was giving me. Honestly, I do have to give him a little bit in that I believe and I remember that it was stated that this was like his first thing where he was, actually on a show. So I'll give him that because I do know that, you know, him going up against a Funky Dineva who's used to talking to a screen, as well as a Claudia who's a consummate professional, it probably was a lot of intimidation in him. But even with that being said, that shouldn't have led him to do some of the things or a lot of the things that he was doing behind the scenes and on camera.
And it didn't. It's actually just ingrained in his personality because, as I said earlier, he did this to Jennifer Williams. Claudia had let it be known that everybody that Al had been around, reality TV, except all his supposed friends, he was trashing behind their backs, including Nene Leakes. He was trashing behind her backs while smiling in her damn face. So Al is like, he has a social deficit. He has a personality deficit for sure. It's definitely not isolated to just, the TGIF universe and the circumstances that led to things just being raggedy over there. Like, a messy person definitely came into this fold. Funky is also known to be a messy person, throw his friends under the bus, be two-faced, etc., self-serving. So it was a recipe for disaster in all actuality. It's just kind of a shame that Claudia didn't kind of know what she was getting into. She just thought this probably could be the easiest, most money-making, dope opportunity that it could be. We together 1 hour out of the day, being ourselves, getting paid a lot of money. How hard could this really be? And then it wasn't until she embarked upon that journey that she really realized that she had two devils on each shoulder. She had one devil to the left and one devil to the damn right.
Can I ask you a question, CTV?
Yes.
Do you think that there possibly could have been a conversation between Funky and Carlos that sparked this whole "I want to go on this half-ass, fake-ass apology tour"?
Okay.
Seeing him and seeing her and Dustin and Carlos, making waves, especially, I know the with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and now you're seeing, a lot of the things that Claudia has been saying about certain things have been making it to the different blogs and what have you. So her name is creeping back up there, and I feel like, to me, I just see them two talking, Carlos and Funky, and Carlos trying to mend some type of fence. Or, man, maybe you should just talk. She's not that bad, yada yada. Do you think that could have been something that may have happened?
I mean, it wouldn't be outside totally of the realm of possibility, since they all kind of run in common circles. But Funky kind of explained that. I mean, even though we know he was lying, so who knows what the truth is? But even in the interview, he was just saying, I was just sitting around watching. For some reason, TGIF came up in my damn algorithm, and it was all the best moments, and I got to missing her, so I just reached out to her. But I wouldn't be surprised if Funky and Carlos had a conversation of some kind. Carlos King probably, pushed him to just do it. However, I would think if Carlos King had been a part of a backdoor conversation with Funky, that he probably would have encouraged him to reach out personally, like not do these general PSAs to her, but really call her, and talk to her. That's what's going to land better than you just creating a segue in your hot topics to go tell the Funky Bunch to go get at Claudia about bringing the show back, etc. So
I don't think
that possibility.
I don't think that Carlos had anything to do with this, because even though people can do one thing publicly and do something totally different or additionally behind the scenes, I think that he would have brought it up at some point, meaning he's been talking too much about Armand. I don't even, why did I just say that man's name? He's been talking too much about Mr. Ed. a lot about Mr. Ed. And I think that if he had had a conversation, because a lot of times when they go live before they actually get into the commentary about the shows, they genuinely talk a lot about their week, or have their very casual, very organic banter back and forth or dialogue. And I think that it would have been he would have at some point brought Funky up, even if it was to compliment him. You know what I'm saying? To give flowers and say, "Oh, he's doing this, he got that going on," or whatever. He hasn't mentioned that man since he did the interview. But he has repeatedly mentioned Mr. Ed on several occasions, just giving this man his accolades when it has nothing to do with the topic that they're about to discuss or anything. So for that reason alone, I don't believe so. I believe that because Claudia has been dry begging, love you girl, but you have been dry begging to get Carlos to work with you. You have some show ideas. You've been trying to get him to put together or give y'all his dates, and y'all plan something where y'all could do some type of tour or some type of show in Miami, et cetera, et cetera. I just believe that overall, this was all basically, I said all that to say, this is all basically Funky's doing. But I love what Jackie said. I can't believe the audacity to really sit in this woman's face. I'm so perplexed. I'm just replaying it all in my head, and I'm perplexed, y'all. At the fact that he really sat in this woman's face and said, "You're not the problem, but yeah, but you're the problem."
Right.
And I'm not going to tell you. Right. I'm not going to tell you. Not only did he play in her face, but he played in the viewer's face. You brought this to us. You brought this to us, and then you turn around and the same people that you've been telling or devote you all this stuff for, that because you need them to side with you. You then turn around and say to Claudia, don't address them, because they're gonna make what he said y'all gonna do, because he wasn't talking about me. What he said people was gonna do, y'all? They was gonna have all these little
pieces and 900 YouTube piece videos.
Clock it.
What are you talking about? But this is what you did. You engineered.
I'm the think piece. I am the 900 think piece videos.
Yes. He's talking about you, because it's so funny. Cause I'm like, what is this man talking about? But
hey,
you can do
it. That part. Hit the link.
Somebody can y'all help me make? I know it's no sense that can be made of this, but somebody try to really get me. I want to understand the rationale. I really want Conscious. You better hit Claudia up on the back end and tell her we will cash app her. We will cash app her to come up here. I want to know. They listen. I know she's not the one that engineered this. She ain't the one that perpetuated this. She's not even the one that kept it going on. I get all of that. But Claudia, we the viewers, I feel like I got fucking whiplash. Excuse me. I know we trying not to cuss, but I'm feeling like I'm having a delay reaction, and now I got whiplash. I need this to make sense. I want her to tell me what was going on in her brain. Listen, you don't got to speak on him, but just speak on what was going on in your brain.
I don't think she's gonna be able to do that without it injuring Funky and without it being made to be about
Funky. He's already injured.
Yeah, but she's already, Claudia, contrary to popular belief, Claudia hates being talked about. Claudia hates being in negative publicity. She hates it. Because she's worked so hard, for her reputation. She's worked so hard in her professional business. She hates negative publicity. And I think, obviously there's no way for her to talk about what's going through her mind and how she's feeling and experiencing the stuff going on with Funky, fake trying to make up with her without obviously that. Because if she's probably going to be honest, if she has experienced any of this in a way that is disappointing, it's frustrating, if she was to speak honestly in the open space, obviously, to Funky's point, because what's funny, right, is that in this podcast interview, Funky literally says, I don't want us to refer to the commenters and the comments because it's just going to open shit up and it's just going to get the talking. But the gag about it is he was talking about himself, not
Thank
Claudia.
you.
He was talking about himself because Funky is already being insincere to a lot of people in the comment section. Funky don't really like Claudia. Claudia is just a lick, and she's just a step in the direction that he wants to go in regarding whatever agenda he has, whether that's, you know, in media, whether that's in money, etc. And because Funky knows he's on edge and that all this shit is performative and that the wrong thing, the wrong moment, the wrong conversation will cause him to tear it down a motherfucking again, he ain't even want to take no chance. and even addressing commenters, addressing having the hard questions because he knows that this shit is performative. Therefore, it makes just all fragile for him.
Not only is it performative, he knows that he ain't worth a damn, and he knows that he's in the wrong. He knows that if he was in the right, those 900 YouTubes and think pieces would be lifting him up. But since he knows he's on some bullshit, that as soon as he started answering questions and truthfully, or if he came up with lies, he knew that people would understand and they would treat it as such. And I really think it's comical for him to sit there and say, "Oh, I just happened to see something popped up on my YouTube page about a YouTube about the best of." First of all, ain't nobody saying I watch TGIF all the time. I have yet to see a best of pop up in my algorithm.
I'm like, where you at in the algorithm,
I know
girl?
that's a damn lie.
Where you at in the
I
algorithm?
know that's a lie. If anything, he was up there searching for stuff.
No. If anything, Trey, he created he created that live, that little video segment, the best of. He sat there and he put it together and was reminiscing, trying to keep him afloat.
Right.
You know, like, and he, you know, and I could see him doing some shit like that just so that he can keep his name afloat and to get people talking. Like, I'm tired of the junkie stunts. Like, because the more I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it, I usually like can compartmentalize, but all of this is spilling over, and it's just not. It didn't make sense when it was compartmentalized, and now it's all mixed up, and I don't know if it's triggering my OCD, but it ain't working for me. And I just, you know, I would like to know what these people felt like in real time while they were like on live with him. Like, even if Claudia can't tell me, I want her homegirl to tell. Like, what were you guys thinking? I mean, Claudia did her absolute best. Her absolute best.
Here is the issue, right? Because, you know, history already tells us what this will look like. Unfortunately, because we live in a patriarchy and we live in a male-identified as society, Claudia, even in the first round, already got to see that she doesn't have a voice when going up against a man, even if it's a Black gay man, even if it's a minority man. She can't compete with that. He swallowed her up in the narrative. As wrong as he was, as out loud as Funky's behavior was, the majority, you know, of viewers were siding with Funky, and it was a shame and a scandal to honestly witness. So I think Claudia knows at the end of the day, it's not worth it. You know, I live in a patriarchy as a woman. I don't have the same equity and advantage. And Funky can be a man and be wrong and have the dripping knife in his hand. And somehow as a woman, I'm going to be responsible for what happened. I'm responsible for being stabbed. I'm responsible for being murdered. And we witnessed that already in the first interim of all of it.
Do y'all think that Claudia really believed that Funky was going to have a transparent and accountable conversation, and that's the reason why she went into this interview with him? What was the point?
You know, Claudia, well, him being on the show was Erica's idea. Claudia almost kind of pushed back against it because she didn't really know if that would be the best, if it was too soon for that, etc. So him coming on the show was totally all of Erica's idea. All the only responsibility and task that Claudia had was in reaching out. She still didn't even know exactly what direction Erica was going to go in, but she just reached out to say, look, my co-host, she wants you on, da-da-da. He was like, okay, that's a great idea. And she didn't even get vetted on any of the questions that Erica was going to pose to her or Funky. So she went in, you know, like super authentic and just being present. But I do think that, like, logically speaking, obviously, right? I would have thought if I was her, considering that he's been begging online for all of this. We just had this grand moment. He's made this grand love bombing gesture. You know, he's begging for realignment, etc. I would have naturally, logically expected that, okay, he's obviously going to be showing up to lean more into that, and that he wants to take the opportunity, you know, because maybe at the Essence Festival, it wasn't the time and the space to really get into what she probably thought would be accountability on his end. But now that he's going to sit down more intimately with her on a podcast, she probably did assume, okay, you know, he's going to lean more into all of this. He's probably going to really clear my name. He's going to own up to his stuff. And, you know, he's just going to continue to kind of like Clorox his blood up off of the floor. And then when that was obviously not the case, you know, you could just see Claudia holding it together, and those eyes started getting super glossy, and I could see that she was just pushing through, and she was like, yeah, this is probably as good as it's going to get, and I'm just going to take this very shallow gesture at shallow best. And I'm just happy that this man is not going to be dragging the fuck out of me and splitting my fucking wig and, you know, calling me every hoe and bitch in the book, and, you know, and I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I think, like, logically, she probably did expect that. I mean, ideally, right? That's what we kind of all was hoping this was going to be, even though all of us were not surprised that it did not end up that way. But it was like, why else would you be sitting down, given that you're the one begging? You're the one who collapsed the whole shit. You're the one who went to war. You're the one who initiated all of this. You're the one who created a narrative around this woman's name. So it would seem to make sense that you would be sitting your black ass down to, you know, take more responsibility for that and clean that shit up so that the viewers can feel good, Claudia can feel good, and we can just really move on. But, you know, he chose to be funky instead. And yeah.
He's never going to do that. I'm going to exit, but he's never going to do that. This is like, you know, he's going to forever keep it in the bag of mad day tricks.
Yes.
So, you know what I mean? It really comes off, has me wondering what else does he know? Is there anything he knows about Claudia? I don't want to know it, but I just wonder if there's anything that he knows about Claudia that she may not want the public to be privy to. And even if it is something that it's coming off like,
and that's the part that I hate. I understand, given how she got flamed up and how bad this was for her, why she was not going to really like hold him accountable, because she's just walking on eggshells at this point around his fragility and around his fragile ass male ego. But to your point, Arumas, that's the part that, like, I wish she would not have let him get away with so much, because it just, to your point, it left room, right, for that type of conspiracy. It left room for that type of questioning. And I really wish she kind of would have pressed him lovingly and was like, funky. Now, you gonna make it make sense. We were cool after you left. We have a whole text thread between us. You did a tribute video that Monday following your departure, you know, showing mad love to me and Al and wanting to continue to work with us. You have said in my face on that microphone that you did not have no issues with me in all actuality, that I was great, that you miss me. Like, bro, you know, I'm not going to let you get away with kind of like keeping this air up, you know, that I'm the problem. And then on top of that, you refuse to disclose what it is. You won't nuance it. And then you keep putting it out there, but then it keeps being contradicted by, I ain't got no issue. So what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I do wish you would have. I know he ain't got no hair for her to tug on. He don't have a follicle left for her to be able to grip to hold accountable. But I wish she would have found something, you know, a piece of that beard, something that the nose ring, and just pull him in and say, you're not going to do this to me, Funky. Like, if you can't really get into it, then we're going to have some issues in terms of moving forward. And by issues, I mean, I'm going to continue to be a very rich bitch in your face. That's what the issues are going to be. I'm going to leave this where it is. I'm going to leave you where you are. And I'm just going to continue to go do what a bad bitch does. Because you needed all this. If you're going to come here and do all this, either clean it up, I don't fucking clean it up. But continuously contradicting yourself and then to get here in my face and contradict yourself is diabolical. It's diabolical. To not still be able to land your fucking plane and to just be real with yourself is crazy work. It's crazy work. She should have definitely tugged on his wig. But I know how soft-spirited Claudia is, and given that she doesn't win when it comes to the social narratives at all, she doesn't win that at all. She doesn't have the best track record of being able to get the benefit of a doubt, no matter who the fuck is going in on her. I can understand why she didn't fight for it, but you know, damn it, she should have. Yeah, I would have went there, but hey, you know, it's wild. It's wild.
I agree with you 100%. And I just want to say before I drop down, thank you once again. And also to Claudia, I know you out there listening, ma'am. We love you here. This is a safe space for you. And just know, once again, please rewatch or re-listen if you need to. Funky said it himself. He don't want to work. He's not going to put in the work, and he's not going to do any work. He is not for you, ma'am, and that is okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Trey. Rumors? I know that you were trying to get out of here too.
Yeah, I just got suffering from whiplash. Claudia, I'm just sending you love and light. It's so much that we could take away, not even making it about them. It's just very interesting that we have a lot of breakdown being, like, you know, out in the forefront for the public to see, and when it comes to friendships and even on a professional level with colleagues. I think that like we need, like, I think there's a space for a conversation that definitely people that really want to make those changes, correct them behaviors, and to do better so that they can have a better, valuable life. I really think people need to start looking at how they're handling breakdowns. And I don't know. It's just weird to me because I'm seeing a pattern going on, Conscious, and I'm kind of like, I feel like a deer caught in the headlights because I can't believe. And I know age really shouldn't matter, but to me it matters. I can't believe how many people of a certain age gap are having these problems and breakdowns in friendship and in their professional lives, where they cannot articulate themselves. They don't have the emotional intelligence, nor, you know what I mean, they just don't have the skills to have a proper breakdown. Like, it don't have to be a bunch of drama. You know what I mean? You can't recover. Like, I just don't. It really is scary, and it's shocking and polarizing to me right now. I can't believe I'm having this effect. Like,
and it's really your nervous. And it's really your nervous. Part of that shock is your nervous system is intimately responding to the narcissistic abuse, because you, like a lot of us who have been through that, like, we know what this looks like and what this feels like. So our own nervous system is having a genuine response to the gaslighting and the narcissism of it all, because your nervous system is never going to forget this. So it's always going to be triggering to, like, watch somebody else being abused emotionally or taken advantage of if you've been traumatized in any way by these type of things to begin with. Because, you know, I'm having the same kind of like triggered up response as well. And then to your point, it's also just a shock, right? That, my God, it seems to be a motherfucking epidemic of accountability and transparency and true ownership. And it is absolutely terrifying. It is terrifying. It's a crazy reality check. And baby, I don't even know what to tell the people to do. I don't even know what to tell them to do, baby. To get in our art, baby, and seal the doors behind you. I love you too.
Good night, conscious crew.
Good night, baby. That was our room, y'all. Baby, some deep shit going on in the world, girl. Baby, the world is, baby, as the world turn, ain't it? As the motherfucking world turn. I want to shout out to my panel. We can close off by reading some of these comments, girl, because they are chewing Funky Dineva up in the comment section of the Accidentally Informed podcast. So actually, let's kind of scan this comment section. Super kawaii. Oh yes, y'all run the likes up, please. Y'all been doing so lovely on the like shot. I love you guys a long time for it. Oh yes, I do. Okay, let me pull up this comment section, child, because the people, it's for the first time, I feel like we kind of all are on the same page. Like everybody seems to be seeing the play here. Nobody's really falling for Funky Dineva aside from the Funky Bunch. Like the Funky Bunch, in terms of his own core audience, like they're the ones like, oh, okay, I see you want this, so I'm just happy, for you and her. But everybody, adjacent to the Funky Bunch, they're seeing the play, girl. They're seeing it for what it is. Okay, one person says, I think it's okay to forgive without reintroducing a person back to your life. Somebody said that part. Somebody else says, I remember when Funky Dineva left TGIF, he aired his show at the same time as Claudia and bragged about more views. He was in competition with Claudia. Somebody said under here something really interesting. They said, what was the comment? Oh, maybe it was another comment. I forgot what it was. Somebody else says, Claudia always keeps it real, called out Funky about the money. I think it's down here. So someone else said, not once did this man say thank you to Claudia for offering me, I got hiccups, y'all, for offering me opportunity. Very dismissive and ungrateful. He is all about saving face and even at the expense of his personal relationship. Someone else says, yeah, but the way he kept emphasizing the fact that he didn't need the job showed disregard to Claudia's efforts for helping him out initially. Someone else says, you can tell he just rehurt Claudia. I saw the mist in her eyes. The door has been permanently closed. Someone else under that says, man, I love them both, but when she said it was the one thing I wish you didn't stand on, I was a little hurt. I saw the look in her eyes. I was like, damn, Funky, you messed it up. I do have clarity about one thing. Al is the problem. I don't care. Someone else, this is the comment I was looking for. This was a very loaded comment. This user says he misses the highs, but those came at the cost to Claudia. You can't cherry pick the good times while ignoring the harm. If the highs were built on imbalance, then they weren't really highs for everyone. Missing the fun isn't the same as being ready to do better. And sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is let the chapter go and stay closed. Baby, that was a whole entire word. That was a whole entire mic drop moment there. That was it, baby. That was motherfucking it right there, girl. That was it. That user said that. You said that, boo. Someone else says, Claudia, you would be a fool to partner with him again. Someone else said, Erica, you got Q backpedaling when you addressed him saying Claudia's the problem. That's journalism. I'm happy Claudia can see that he's still the same Q. I love Funky, but what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And shout out to the Funky Bunch who are not coat-minded. They know how a lot of things can be true at the same time. They know that they can clock Funky on his bullshit while it not taken away from them supporting him. I love these type of people who can call it down the middle, whether they support a person or not. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And shout out to the Funky Bunch who are just like, yeah, we love Q, but hey, you know, he really jacked this thing up, and Claudia would be in her best interest to stay the fuck away from him. Oh, someone else says, Claudia, run, run like hell, baby, run like hell, girl. Don't do it. Move on, baby. Someone else says, have a private conversation first without an audience. We don't need to hear the details, just the results. Having an audience makes things worse. Someone else says he doesn't want to admit he was wrong. Absolutely. Someone else says, I hope Claudia is careful. I'm a fan of both. However, he dragged her and then had others dragging her for some unknown reason. I kept waiting for him to say what she did so wrong to him. It never happened. Someone else says, Claudia, I'm getting ready to change my whole opinion of you. If anybody that is truly Claudia's friend, please be honest with her about working with Funky D again. It will not make her look good at all. She will only be appeasing his following. I can't say this enough. Funky Dineva is a liability, period. Don't stick your hand in the same hole that the snake bit you again. With that being said, I want to also speak to a comment. I think it was by Danny, matter of fact. But somebody in the comment section of our stream had said something to the degree of, you know, Funky is just not a friend to anybody. Like, he ran back to the internet to tell something that Carlos King shared with him in confidence, which was that pretty much Nene's only talent is being in conflict. You know, she doesn't really have a lot of give outside of her being in conflict with other people. Funky Dineva, you know, revealed that. Funky Dineva has a habit of doing that, of putting his friends in community in compromising positions. Not only did he share that, which he should not have, he did the same thing to Oliver Twix when he let it be known that Oliver Twix in confidence shared with him that Michelle A.T. Alien had a smell. You know, that was something that Twix shared with Funky after he had met Michelle A.T. Alien, but not something that he would have ever said publicly out of respect for Michelle. Funky Dineva aired that out. Then remember, he also, when him and Tasha K was actually friends, remember he sat on TeaGIF and said that Tasha K gave him the play-by-play personally and privately about how she was hiding assets and money from Cardi B during their lawsuit. And they were friends at the time. Then, you know, remember when he gave Dr. Heavenly's op on Married to Medicine ammo to drag Dr. Heavenly's husband with, who he claimed to love, and, you know, he loves Dr. Heavenly and their family. Funky Dineva loves and likes no one. He is not trustworthy. You would be a goddamn fool to, hell, at this point, socially and professionally align with him, you know, based upon his consistent behavior in being untrustworthy. Now I understand why he spends so much time down there to the goddamn bar. You know, it's probably not best that he has any socializations with people. He doesn't play well with people, unfortunately. So, with that being said, this was a wonderful stream, you guys. Give me all of your feedback in the chat. Please run those thumbs up, 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 up. You guys see all donation handles on the comment section. I want to shout out to my baby mother Homebody for the masterpiece, a child support check, and my baby mother Miss Amiria for the audacity piece, a child support check. Thank y'all so much to my donators and sponsors and contributors. I love you guys so much. You guys know it takes money to run a platform. StreamYard is $100 alone. You know, we owe Pesa $400 damn. You know, it costs to be the boss child. You know, it costs to be the boss, baby. So if you guys love everything that I do and the entertainment and content and all the things that I bring, you guys can always hit the PayPal and the Cash App. Send me all the tea to Consciouztv. Follow me on Instagram at Consciouztv. You can also follow me on Patreon as well. I love you guys long time. And I did have another live stream in mind, but I don't know. We already been here for almost 4 hours. I might be cooked for the night. If I don't see you guys again tonight, I'll definitely see you guys tomorrow. row. All right. Love you guys. Bye.